Oops, let's see. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Here we have Blue Vex versus CWU Crimson here. I am Abbatrombone, joined here with my color caster. We already have some of these bands in. How do you think this draft is going?
I think the draft is going actually pretty well. As you can see, that the support player does play prominently Bard, and the guy plays prominently Alawi, so it makes sense to ban those characters right at the start. Surprised not to see a Shaco ban instead of putting him to the Malzahar, though, because this guy is comfortable on Shaco. Malzahar does kind of make sense though, as he can be quite annoying when it comes to these fights.
Yeah, Malzahar's wave clear is really good, helps enable a lot of these mid roams and really nail down some of these big and important champions. Speaking of which, this Xayah pick can be quite good. Do you have any predictions if they're going to be going with a support to go with it right away, or do you think they're going to hold it?
This guy has 100 games onto the Zyra, so this could be looking like a Zyra maybe. Zyra can be annoying down the bot side, but she is typically not known for just like, as a support fully. Because, she has the roots and she has the damage, but she's not really a support. She's more just a damage dealer, kind of like Brand, right?
Yeah. You see her in the support lane doing a lot of peels. Xayah has a big range weakness here, so just being able to mitigate that with Xayah's big mage ranges is pretty good. But the Wukong Cyclone going to be pretty important for this Featherstorm if you can keep him in there with the recall as a response. Going to be quite powerful in these team fights. Of course, they're going to have to get there up against the Sivir. Not going to be the greatest, as Sivir does outrange you with that big boomerang.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised to see this Udyr picked. As you know, Xayah and Jinx are very, very prominent right now into the ADC bot lane. So usually you like to save that J4 pick in the jungle just to counter the Xayah, making sure she can't really get away with her R. So the Udyr, it kind of surprises me to be first picked out of all the champions that they had.
Yeah, it looks like we're going for a lot of AoE or 1v1 champions here, like Wukong, Jax, Mordekaiser, Udyr. All of these champions are really good at just going in, running, hitting someone, walking away, or nailing them down in a big 1v1 here. Pre-level 6 and post-level 6, it looks like it's going to be really different here, and they're blitzing through these bans. My goodness, they knew what they wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, and also something cool with the Udyr Sivir fact is the fact that Sivir has her ultimate, which is Australia's pretty much, and Udyr can really get on top of his targets like he's really wanting to get on. Because as we've seen Udyr in the past, he's not able to fully get onto those targets with how much dashes are in the game, and he's just kind of that running man on sandals, right?
Yeah.
But Sivir can maybe get him onto those targets as he wants on these team fights. Same with Mordekaiser too. Mordekaiser being able to get onto the Xayah, maybe alter, or maybe get the Jax out of the fight if Jax is too fed.
Yep. And those feathers don't stay with you as well. So that's really important that you're trying to set up if you really time that ultimate quite well. Like Jax is going to have a little bit of a hard time, I think, earlier on, but I believe he outscales the Mordekaiser into the top lane. Both are really good at split pushing, so if either of them get ahead, it's going to be quite a problem to deal with.
Yeah, and I feel like, though, Mordekaiser is very easy to team fight with rather than Jax, as Jax is usually known for having to switch targets a lot, because as soon as that ADC comes in, Jax needs to hop onto them to get him out of the fight, right? Mordekaiser's goal is plain and simple, so if he's ahead, we might see Blue Vex trying to push that lead on the Mordekaiser with team fights, but if Jax is ahead, it could be more of a split push game, and see how that goes.
Yeah, split push gaming. Oh, man, so much pick coming out of the Crimson team. RA, Jax, Wukong, really good, and they have the finishing up with the Xayah. But so much clumping and team potential coming out of Blue Vex. Leona's son Zenith, plus can't forget about Yone's ultimate here as well. They're going to be able to set up, and they're going to have the movement speed to do any of these gap closes. Of course, there's going to be some big dashes here. And with all of these teams set up the way they are, who do you think has the edge overall?
Like Blue Vex comp is really good with the team fight and all in, but Crimson just picked the Braum, and Braum is really known for just being able to stop all engages almost, just because if he autos someone, they can immediately get stunned, and his ultimate and giving the armor to his entire team and shielding a lot of Sivir stuff that's going to happen. I feel like Crimson definitely does have pick the comp to where they can counter dive, and BlueVex is looking to dive onto them.
Yeah, the thing I really like about some of these pick comps, like with a Wukong, is not only are they strong in their own, can really utilize a lead, it's when you're at this level of play, a lack of vision favors this style of composition. So just being able to get those picks, if you're up ahead, it is very easy to keep that lead and to continue punishing people who are overextending. Flip side, though, if you could force some team fights on Blue Vex's side, if you get big at all, they're going to be a menace to deal with if they're monkeys together strong.
100%. But also a thing is also Sivir and Leona. Leona is looking to engage down to the bot side, but she's not going to really do much. If Leona engages, Braum and Xayah will take that lead on Leona, and there will be nothing they can really do. So if Sivir and Leona just play passively, they could be fine and go even with the Xayah Braum. But this could be scary knowing that Leona does want to dive into everyone. That's because that's her whole kit.
Yeah, it does make things a little bit difficult as Braum and Zai have to be glued at the hip almost, because that shield, if it's not up, that boomerang is going to really chip away at Zai's small attack range. So I think Sivir actually might win out the early game a little bit. Of course, their all-in isn't going to be as great, but they can roam. Engage Sports can roam and back the map as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe the Zion is going to want to roam down towards the bot side, too.
Yep.
Knowing that he can't really get onto Ahri, as Ahri will just charm and just walk away or R away. There's not much how much Yon can do. So maybe we might see some roams from Yon towards the bot side,
or
trying to get a lead somewhere. Yeah. Maybe top 2, but
top pre-6. Post-6, it's a lot more difficult with the ultimate, because Mordekaiser's kit just kind of is weird that way.
Kind of wins, especially if Jax ults and then Mordekaiser ults. He steals all the resistances that Jax just got.
Yeah. It's kind of a game of chicken up there.
100%.
But if you can get these some nice lineups as well, it's so good. Both these teams really benefit from the vision.
Yeah, and I feel like though Leona can try getting the vision as much as she wants here. Braum has a more safe approach towards getting vision, as he could just jump away to one of his teammates that are there. But Leona not having any mobility besides going onto someone could really, not display her from not getting as much vision as Braum will be getting vision.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Exactly, and also as we can see, CWU Crimson, their comp is a lot more safe. They have a lot of. They have Ahri, Braum, Jax, and Xayah. They have 3 and Wukong. All 5 of them actually can just get away from almost any situation that they put themselves into. Not really easy to punish the mistakes. As Blue Vex doesn't have really anything besides just a bunch of go in besides Sivir. So they're being able to spell shield whatever that may happen, but it's just very hard to punish anything that CWU Crimson can or will do.
And it is a 20-second cooldown that spell shield her E. Very big. They do have some very clear go buttons. You press R, everyone else presses R, and you win the team fight should things be roughly even or if you're ahead. Or maybe even slightly behind. With this kind of team analysis, I think we'll call it stay tuned, and we'll jump back into it once everything's lined up with the spectator delay in mind. Unpause. Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a best of 3 CWU versus Blue Vex here. Blue Vex on the blue side, CWU on the red side. I am joined here with our newest colorcaster, 2 Style Esports. Are you ready for this nice best of 3?
I am ready for this. I'm actually kind of excited, as I am a Bard main, and also we have a fellow Bard main here as the Achilles. Oh, there's a 5-man invade here.
We already get a flash.
There's a flash from the Achilles.
Oh, yeah, it's a 5-minute cooldown, really big, and a big engage tool as well. I'll have to see that.
Especially with Leona too. You need to when you get that level 2, it's free stun like almost 3 seconds because Leona is crazy broken with CC.
Yeah, just being able to stack it super early. Not as bad to lose it at this stage in the game, right? Because it's still like 30 seconds before stuff spawns, and you're not necessarily going to go into level 1, so it's not as punishing in the early game, but still not the favorite thing to happen. They're respecting the possible engage, but this double ward trying to catch out where the jungle are starting or they're pathing. Really smart by CWU.
Yeah, and as we can also look on the side here, we see Ari with the TP trying to match the Yone roams as we were talking about earlier. We have Udyr with the Ghost, trying to get more speedy with the SeveerBard and just getting on top of these people. Both ADCs, God, I was losing my mind there.
Yeah.
Both ADCs have cleanse, trying to make sure they can't get CC'd here. Xayah is not going to have too much of a worry. Same with Sivir, both being super safe. The Leona is the only one that's going to be trying to do much, but we'll see what happens to Leona
too. It's like Leona kind of knows what she needs to do to stop some of this burst damage that might be coming out. Really smartly played, especially Sivir's going to be so hard to touch with Spell Shield and Cleanse.
Oh yeah, 100%. Only thing really that's going to be able to CC her is the knockups that's going to be happening.
The knockups, unless you are able to get the Spell Shield off then for that specific knockup and then go away from there. But you have to be able to time that perfectly as well.
100%. There is a level 2 here. We might see an engage from the Leona. Looking at the Xayah.
We could with them spacing out this way. It looks a little dangerous though, but I want to highlight here, both junglers doing a full clear towards their top side. Do you think we're going to get a 2v2 into the top side once they're done with these camps?
I do not. I feel like it might be a 3v2 on Blue Vex for Scuttle.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like Jax is pushing out more enough to where this could be a 2v2 and down Scuttle with Jax coming, or not 2v3 actually. Maybe Jax coming down and Yone roaming up. I feel like that's what's going to be happening.
Yeah, there was a slight lead for the minions there, so it looks like he might have been trying to freeze potentially, so he couldn't get chunked out as much. There's a big 10 CS lead here, but mid lane we're going to be seeing Tokyo see him on the ward, backing out there. No kill yet, but the Scuttle Crab is open. We can see if the fight's going to be happening here.
Yeah, and as they're going for the Scuttle here, see who tries to go get it. Yone is roaming up, and there goes on to the Wukong.
Yep, nothing happening here. They were able to get it on CWU. The bottom Scuttle Crab still available here, but he's getting the rotation here, and it's so difficult for Llama to get through here, and he can't invade us. These camps are already down. This vision by CW, so excellently executed here, as they're going to know where a lot of people are. Tokonoko taking a lot of damage here. The Electrocute really does do its damage here. They don't necessarily need that Ignite to get in that damage.
Leona looks like to be maybe caught out here.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting a little chunked out, but they're pretty close to the tower. They're able to get up here, and it looks like Slime Doggy here might be our first blood here if they're not going to be able to get out. Raptor's pretty low, but the damage finally coming through. First blood by Shady Llama.
Yeah, and as we saw, the vision was towards the top side. They knew Udyr was top side, but it looked like Smiley Doggy just didn't respect that the Udyr being top side still after trying to invade on CWU.
Yeah, that did cost them their flash too, and they ended up dying. A very important summoner, as we mentioned, and it did cost them their TP if they want to be able to get this CS as well. It's one of the big leads that they did have, which is closing up. But they have a Sheen now. Raptor's going to get that nice buy though as well.
Yeah, and we can see that also like the CS difference towards the top side is already steadily making things. So that assist on Mordekaiser is not really going to be doing much,
Yeah.
as Jax is already 10 CS ahead and starting a freeze as it looks like towards the top side until we see the camera. I can't really tell.
CS lead there, CS lead into the mid as well.
And it looks like it's gonna be all towards this Udyr to try and helping these lanes with the CS lead. That's gonna be happening toward every single lane on CWU right now.
Just a small one in the bot lane, though. The mid one, 2 waves, is pretty big. And it looks like Spongehead's been starting this dragon by themselves for a while, which is quite nice for them.
No. And it is mountain dragons can be taken down. The dragon's resetting. It's gonna delay. It's gonna delay CWU on the dragon, but there comes dragon. There comes a cloud. This could be a unit. That soul point is gonna be huge, depending if it's Chem Tech or not. As we know, yep. Ocean Soul and Hex Tech are one of the best souls in the games to try and take it over any game that they can.
Now, one thing I want to highlight here is that they spent a lot of time taking that. Pack is getting dove here, trying to take some damage here. Not able to get enough quite through an even trade. But as I was saying, they spent a lot of time on that dragon here, but it looks like the blue side was able to get a full push in there, and they ended up buying that Noon Quiver. Do you think that's really going to punish out CWU here?
The Noon Quiver is a good buy, but I think Xayah is just going to try and not really there's no punish that's going to be really fully happening. As even though that there is a Noon Quiver buy, their CWU is just going to try and.
Well, it looks like we saw a full dive in by Achilles going in, and they ended up going through the double binding there with the Zenith Blade. Not able to fully get that in with the bouncing boomerangs, but another kill on to the board on blue side. Blue Vex able to get that nice punish.
Yeah, and honestly, the Xayah, I don't know what they were doing. They had the wave shoved in completely into the tower, but decided to greed and push up for some reason. And because of that, Leona was able to just punish her for free and get the free kill.
It wasn't just that. It was pretty clear that Spongehead was trying to go up and get some warding to stay safe as they were backing off. But that means they split up from their AD carry, which left them so vulnerable there. It obviously cost them a lot of summoners, Tortiga and Achilles and Armidas. But, they ended up getting a kill here. And that's a cloak of agility there.
Yeah, and, the Xayah didn't have the back, but Sever did. So Xayah, no matter what, was going to lose that trade, whether or not they wanted to engage or not. But Xayah's wave was completely pushed in. There was no point to be there for Xayah. He should have walked up the Braum, trying to stay together as the Braum. There's just probably a miscommunication between the support and the ADC. Yeah, on the bot side.
Oh, we want to see if this is going to go with the ice going through. Spongehead just being able to peel away from here. CW getting a return kill finally onto the board here, trying to get as much damage in the enemy AD carry here as well. Both hitting level 6 here as we go into a nice top fight with Doggy here. Llama is hovering around here. The Death Realm coming in for this nice 1v1, and Llama is going to be able to try and prevent any dive out here, and it's going to be secured both of the side lanes. Getting a kill here. So 3v2. Who does this favor?
This definitely favors towards Blue Vex, in my opinion, at least. Xayah did get the kill, but there is a CS lead onto the Sivir. But the Jax being shut down early causes him to delay being able to get these towers and split push like a monster he will be later towards the game. Mordekaiser will be able to make more of an impact, especially with his ult. Udyr getting, of course, more kills. This meaning that he can team fight more as he is going AP. This means that he's maxing out his ultimate or his R Phoenix form, and this will be transformed into team fights. So this won't be just a simple 1v1 case. So this could mean spell trouble towards CWU. Xayah won't be able to just R away from a Phoenix ult following her. It'll just constantly be following her until she can't really, live anymore.
Yeah, not to mention as well that led to an item by Llama, and they were able to take the Rift Herald here. A nice objective for them to try and get some of these plate golds as well to get some more objective gold. They have 3 minutes to take plates right now. Some fighting happening in the middle lane. No kills quite happening, but Alpaca up on roughly 20 farm at this stage, which is quite good on their end. Now, Dragon coming up in 40 seconds here. Do you think CWU is going to go for Dragon 2?
I feel like they definitely are. But what could mean though is that Udyr will if Udyr tries putting Rip Trail down. See, as we can see right here, I don't think the CWU will be going actually anymore because Rip Herald will be taking bot power, and then Braum can't really say much about it. There's a lot of push towards the bot side. Mid does have the prio, so it could be that Ari is roaming. As we can see right now, she is starting to roam. They're looking for a 3v3 with Ari. Yep. Jax does have TP. This could mean a TP towards bot side, looking for this drag. As you can see, he's walking away.
The ultimate coming through from Achilles, but Alpaca using an ultimate of their own, using the triple dash that comes with Spirit Rush here. They have nice control here, Blue Vex, so they might be able to take this dragon, delay any soul here, and get that extra movement speed to try and use the CS lead. Sponge getting caught out here. We already hearing a cleanse, the exhaust, the flashes coming through, the feather storm pulling through, not quite getting any kills there as it's being blocked, but the cyclone going into the back line, hitting things. Armis being dove in, Shady Llama getting caught out here, trying to stay alive, ultimately getting charmed. Tortiga catching them out as Smiley Doggy gets caught into the death room. The flash over to the wall, just getting bonked into oblivion. The passive getting another gold, but the fight's not over yet. Raptor has to walk to his turret, getting charmed in and getting pulled. Got another kill going over to Team Red.
The Twinspell's Rebel, as most of their stuff was shutting down this Jax, the Jax is back in. As we can see, there's a mythic bot instead of Mordekaiser does not have a mythic yet as of right now. Yeah. So this could mean trouble towards the top side. The top side is now not as prominent as it just was. Mordekaiser did have to burn a lot of things on that fight.
The ultimate going through, the cleanse calling in for Tortiga, going through, an ultimate coming down, the solar flare, ultimate flash going through, the Grand Warden trying to stop, the shield stopping it, and an auto just being enough to catch down Tortuga here on CWU, dying.
Zaya keeps getting caught out here. I feel like the support and ADC just don't have the communication correctly for where they're at on the map at all times.
Yeah, a little bit of out of sync there. And the ultimate was down. Featherstorm was used to get some nice kills into that dragon fight. But with it being down, you are a lot less safe, even with cleanse, right? Because even if you do end up cleansing the root that comes from Leona, that's only a quarter second. You still have the rest of her kit to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's stuns from 4 abilities.
Llama taking quite the hit here. Forest going in with the Cyclone, the Clone as well, getting pulled in. It's a 2v3, but Doggy trying to get that kill there, getting a return kill on the opposite side by BLVX.
Yeah, and as we saw, there was a trade one. One trade 1-for-1 is, I feel like it's pretty fine for both teams. Both teams kind of wanted it. Yo did get the shutdown onto the Jax, which can get him to his Immortal Showbow, that thing that he really wants right now.
Alpaca trying to go through, but that's so much damage. They were almost able to catch them out there. With them being so low, they're not going to be able to catch this wave for even a bigger farm lead.
I'm almost surprised that we don't see some sort of armor item, such as the one that hills into Zonia's Seeker's Arm Guard. Yeah, Seeker's Arm Guard. Seeker's Arm Guard onto the Ari, or a Tavi's should decide to win Magical Footwear. And Magical Footwear does delay towards the Tavi's buy, and Tavi's just shuts down Yon's damage almost because of how much auto attacks he does with his Q and his autos.
A lot of these champions do have autos. It looks like we're going in for a flank here. Featherstorm coming in, going through, but that's not going to be enough as this dive is going to catch them. They don't get the support, but the dive might not be over as the minion wave is crashing. He's flashing in, trying to get at the shield, the ignite, but the minions in the end up taking this as well with some turret shots going onto the enemy support.
Yeah, it feels like this Braum is honestly just moving. I'm kind of liking watching this Braum Spongehead is pretty fun to watch.
It's always
Actually.
fun watching Big Daddy Braum.
Oh, exactly. He's moving around, 1v1ing people. He doesn't care if Zaya is over there running it down. It's all fine.
2 and 3. I wouldn't necessarily say that's running it down, but some of these summoners going down is not quite good for them. A lot of big mythic items coming out here. Pretty much 4v4 right now. Of course, mid lane, BLVX does not have their mythic, but on the other side, Sponge does not have their mythic as well, which can help do some of the peeling and tankiness that they want for some of these team fights, as he's able to take some abuse as a warden.
Yeah, and BLVX about has the same amount of gold as Ari, anyways. From the shutdown, she just about 500 gold away. So it's close. All right, it's close enough. All right, it's close. Yeah. But it's just close. The Zerker's Grief does delay the Immortal Shield Bow with Mythic.
Flash not quite getting through, the stun coming in, but that's a lot of damage going into Leona here. The ultimate coming in, the return clump, will they end up getting poked out? Raptor can go in for an ultimate to go for a 1v1, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. And with this being spaced out, it looks like Blue Vex going in for the dragon. Do you think they're going to fight over this, or do you think they're going to return for Shelly topside?
I feel like they're already going towards Shelly. They know they can't contest, so they just don't even risk it. They're not even try fighting. They're just going to go for Shelly and go for some towers. So towers will get the dragons later in the game, as mid lane will be pushed in, or top side, whichever side they want to push in. That makes it where Blue Vex does have to attempt to defend those side lanes, and then they get the dragons later in the game, as Infernal Soul is really prominent towards both teams, and both teams would really like that soul towards the end of the game.
Yeah, both teams do want that extra damage. I mean, who wouldn't? Am I right?
100%.
Smiley Doggy trying to get that top side tower so he can be a split push monster, the Grandmaster of Arms, but kind of difficult when you're out of mana here, so I'm gonna have to do a nice recall. Both AD carries trying to get this farm to the mid lane here. Could be a lot of action here. But with both objectives going down, what do you think these teams should be doing?
I feel like CWU just honestly needs to split push. They have a lot of good split push people. Ari just being able to get away whenever she wants. She can also shove in these lanes really hard. Jax too. Wukong, Zaya, and Braum are pretty safe in the mid lane. They can't really dive onto a Braum, Zaya, or Wukong. They have a really good disengage, so it could be almost just a 1-1-3-1 and just push in lanes and spread pressure. As Blue Vex does want to team fight, team fight will not be as good for CWU.
Yeah, do you think this 1-3-1 is going to go pretty well? I mean, you mentioned Alpaca can go into a sideline here, and Doggy can also go into a sideline, but can Raptor not also do a match with BLVX going into a sideline as well? Won't those be able to counteract some of these 1-3-1 compositions?
I feel like they would, but at least in my opinion, the Blue Vex needs to, once the team fight, their comp is team fighting, and they really want to dive onto people. And as we can see in the mid lane, it did not go very well for Yoan versus Ari. I don't feel like it's going to go as well, keep going, unless they can get these ganks off. Mordekaiser does ult towards the top side. Jax does maybe place a ward and hop away, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Ooh, getting that, but that could cost them their mid tower here. Oh, the ultimate coming through, the exhaust coming through, trying to delay this as all, but they might be delaying the inevitable here, getting this done. The Cyclone in as well. This is a lot of resources for the support, but it's going down. Alpaca going in for a counter fight into BVLX here. The teleport trying to defend this mid lane.
Yeah, and also they're trying to push these lanes, and I feel like it's almost not even happening. The Jax just being able to catch out, either being so fast from having Ghost and having his passive, he's able to get into the side lanes and help out with a 2v1 instead. Mm-hmm. So that could be a prominent thing, unless I feel like Jax needs to have a control ward at all times, just to be able to jump away from ganks that do happen from Udyr.
He does notably have a control ward in his item set. So that is something that could be helping him as well. And just being able to stop any of these or slow down these side lanes could be what either team wants here, trying to force out what they want. But what certainly does force out team fights is an open Baron right now. It's a little bit difficult for both teams to take it, but it could force out a team fight, or this dragon happening in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Also a big timer for these team fights. Who do you think really needs this gold to change these team fights?
And I feel like CWU needs the gold right now. Both teams are relatively even, almost. They are 1K gold from Blue Vex onto them, but that's 1K gold from spaced out between everyone about. So everyone is relatively gold, besides junglers, obviously, as it's But I feel so that's why I feel like CWU needs the gold to just be able to counteract of what's going on from Blue Vex. As Blue Vex
going in, the Featherstorm going in as well, but the return fight happening into the bot side. Alpaca charming in return to prevent any all in here, and Raptor might be getting caught out 3v3 into the mid lane, but that's going to be all. Getting back to this, 30 seconds. It looks like there's not enough time for a back, so even if they did get that gold, they're not going to be able to get it. The smite going through, ultimately going over to CWU, so they're going to have some free vision over there. It can't destroy the Scuttle Crab over there. Gonna want this mid priority.
Yeah, and the CWU, it does have a lot of vision towards the top side, so this could mean that they're probably looking for the Baron. As you can see, there's 4 wards located towards the top side, and Blue Vex did try to go to the Scuttle, but it did get stolen. So they're probably, of course, looking for jungle here, or the dragon here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be able to secure this dragon here as well. It's going to be their 3rd dragon, putting them on soul point. Forced going in to try and do that, but just going back and the clone happening. Meanwhile, CWU getting the top tower there as well. The Grandmaster at Arms being able to split push. Maybe they'll be able to get the 2nd one, as he does a lot of damage with the Divine Sunderer. Only half.
Divine Sunder is very... It looks like Mordekan is handling it pretty well on Divine Sunder, as Divine Sunder does really wreck towards almost anyone, any tank that's on the enemy team. It's one of the best items in the game.
Yeah, it's no Trinity Force when split pushing, but it can really help in some of these big team fights, especially some of these beefier characters. Leona, Udyr, Mordekaiser, big champions that have HP in their build as well. Looks like they're starting up the Baron here. Do you think Blue Vex is going to be able to do this, or do you think CWU is going to be able to turn stuff because of the Baron's gaze?
And I feel like CWU will back out because the TP is towards the Jax right now.
TPing and the charm going through, some of the disengage. Cyclone is available, but not being used here. Baron down to 5,000 health, fighting for every inch here. Now we're in a 5v5. We're stuck into the pit here. Fate Unsealed going all the way in. Doggy getting the kill. Mordekaiser using the Death Realm here. The Cyclone trying to do this as they're fighting over the Baron. It going over to CWU. This isn't over yet. We have a Raptor going in. Charming the jungler. Llama getting caught out. It looks like we're well onto an ace here. The Grandmaster at Arms, but we're going to have to snap back down here. Not until we get a kill first. And Fate Unsealed here. Blue Vex just overcommitting.
Yeah, and also they got the Baron too. So Baron plays are going to really push in towards, the Jax did not get it, as he is split pusher, is one of the main split pushers of this game. Already having it could really help out towards CWU. Gold lead is now.
But
yeah, especially because she's just shoving waves. She doesn't do much damage to turrets. Those Baron minions will definitely do damage to turrets when she is split pushing and shoving these waves.
AP damage does a big chunk, as they don't have as much resistances. And don't forget about CW's AD carry. They have an attack speed steroid on their kit as well. Just chews through. It can do over 1,000 on its own, plus whatever the Baron buff does. Very dangerous territory. Now, with this with the Baron buff being out the way it is, what lane do you think they should be pushing?
I feel like they should be pushing top and bot side, and keep it mid, just add it even. But I'm looking at Xayah's items here, and she has a dagger, and I don't really fully know what she's trying to go for. She does have the last whisper, but last I recall, doesn't build dagger doesn't build into anything the last whisper does.
They changed some item. I know.
Oh, it looks like she just bought the dagger. She just has
the
it.
dagger. Yeah. Sometimes if you have 300 gold over. So it's like it could be Lord Dominic's regard, or it could be the heal cut item if they think healing is going to be an issue to go into. Almost getting a fight out here. Minute and 30 before this dragon, so no objectives up. Baron buff just happening. There is soul point though. This is a very, very big, crucial moment that's going to be happening in minute 20. So they really do need these towers.
Oh my god, Zaya just bought 2 full items on back. She
Yeah.
has Lord Doms and PD now. I'm surprised not to see no Navori quick plays, because as she does most of her damage with the Navori, PD does kind of surprise me as a third buy.
It looks like she's just trying to plan for some sort of attack speed. Navori is a very big item that gets you a lot of burst from your feather pull, but if you're just going to be thinking you just stay back and auto attack people, I guess PD is going to help you run away from the on the hunt plus Udyr plus everyone else. But of course, you have to get all those autos in. So we'll have to see if that ends up paying off for them. I am a bit surprised, though. No Navori's. Good point.
Yeah, Navori being Zaya's one of the main items.
Yeah.
As it is Siver's too, i.e. and Navori just being so strong towards the second item slot. I can understand going to Lord Dom second, as there is 3 people that are very, very beefy. But I don't know about Phantom Dancer. We'll have to see how this plans out for them in fights.
We'll have to see if they go for it for a 4th item, should the game go that long. But we'll have to hold that thought 10 seconds before this dragon. They're fighting over all of this vision here. Llama trying to take up as much space as possible, but both teams have come in all the way, trying to get some poke here with the boomerang. The bonk coming out of Raptor as well here. We'll have to see if they're going to get collapsed on, as we're seeing both sides hover. Cyclone coming through, going through, and Tortiga getting a kill here. Fade Unsealed going in. The Feather Storm going in. The Feather Pull not quite coming through. Cleanse was down. Raptor able to get that kill here as well. 2 people going down on the side of CWU.
Yeah, the feather pool. There was a giant feather pool going down this neck. Maybe, possibly, that Navori would have actually been very helpful there, as there's not much Zaya could do with autos, as the Yone and Udyr and everyone could just get on top of her if she is in auto range. There is a steal from the Wukong, stopping the soul from Bluevex.
The steal! Delaying that dragon, very big for CWU, as the enemy side will not have the soul. Now they're up 1,000 gold, so this gold lead has changed, but it's still been remarkably close between both teams here. Notably, CWU's AD carry, Tortuga, has a stopwatch right now, so trying to prevent some of these dives. I think this could be a smart play by them.
Yeah, I definitely feel like GA is definitely the play towards Zaya, as they do have a lot of, as the Yone is probably one of her biggest problems. As it's pretty easy, especially with the PD being able to have the movement speed from going and kiting away from the Mordekaiser and Udyr. Yone having 3 dashes is something that's going to be very hard to get away from. So I feel like having the stopwatch can be very, very nice to have and be safe with.
Yeah, it can certainly help, although we're seeing Achilles getting caught here. The ultimate going through, but not quite stopping what was about to happen there. Baron is up in 30 seconds, and with Bluevex not having their support, that was a main source of peel and protection for their team. It's not looking good.
Ugh. Yeah, and also, like, as we were pointing out earlier into this game, Leona was going for vision, but she doesn't have the getaway to get away from going for vision. She can't be safe while doing it. It's very hard for her to actually get vision without being caught out very easily. Braum being able to get vision and just jump to his team, Leona does not have the same privilege as they do.
That's certainly the case as well. And they just didn't have people around them. They were kind of out by themselves, which doesn't help as well. Raptor going in, trying to get the Death Realm, trying to 1v1 Alpaki here, who has not quite died yet. Dodging all of these skill shots could really change how this goes, as both teams are collapsing in on each other. Bluevex just trying to get out.
Yeah, it's something I've actually realized is that the gold lead is pretty even, but Zaya is level 15 while Simper's just level 13.
That
Being,
is
being
big.
This guy could really be helpful as Zaya hitting 16, as 16 is where the ultimates do upgrade. Zaya is almost about to out level Mordekaiser and Yone. So this could mean that Zaya just has ult way more and could out damage a lot of the people on their team.
Yeah, 3-item AD carries will do that for you, especially if you get the XP they need. It looks like Achilles getting caught out again, just stepping out too far, and the Cyclone going through as well. More ultimates coming down, shutting down the Yone here, and no more kills quite going through. Although the charm, holy Armida,
that guy got blown up.
Yeah, where'd that guy's HP go? Holy
I don't know.
That
looked, who has Gale Force? I swear that looked like a Gale Force happening.
I mean, that's what happens when you have kill resets for your dashes, and they're just going to be able to pump so much damage into this character here.
Yeah, and there's so much armor strain as we were seeing. The Wukong was able to just completely negate almost all armor that was there, and so they're able to shred that Leona like a pimple. For Black Cleaver and his ultimate being able to just shred every single armor. There is no armor on the enemy team whenever Wukong is there. Trust me on that.
And it's so hard to get away from Cyclone plus everything else, especially when there's a Boric and Spear Sojin right onto Doggy as well, really helping them as well.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see this Braum. The Braum is trying to build Frozen Heart here. Frozen Heart is really, really good with the Yone and the Sivir, especially the Yone. The Yone being able to not Q as fast or W could really mess up some Yone combos, as Yone usually gets adjusted to their attack speed. And when it is slowed down, when Braum is there, it could really mess with their game into the team fights.
Yeah, it really screws up the kiting and timing of all of those skill shots, which could be quite bad for them. That's a really good point as well. Dragon happening in another 30 seconds here. It looks like we're going for a Death Bush stretch. You think this is going to pay out for CWU?
The Death Bush strategy seems to be departed, but I do feel like Death Bush is really good, as they do have the ult from CWU. CWU, as we just saw just happen, they're able to 3v5 almost their entire team, just because Wukong does have such strong team fight and such strong armor shred that he can just wipe out a lot of people, especially with the Braum and the Zaya being able to get into a chokehold straight line, being able to just W, Q, and E everyone back into.
Alpaca is being dove here. They're using 3 of 3 dashes here on the hunt being used. What? That was 2 ultimates. If 3 if you count Llamas, which really doesn't count. But Alpaca got out safe there, and they were able to secure the dragon 3v3.
This means they're probably looking for the dragon, I think. Or, sorry, not the dragon. There's no objectives. They're just trying to get that tower, I guess. My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the tower there. But it looks like with the top split push is being rotated into a bottom split push. Really smart by Blue Vex here.
Yeah, it looks like Blue Vex is trying to just force a team fight. They're just going. They're roaming as one and trying to start something. They can't. One person can't stop 5 of them.
Yeah, that seems to be the case there. And with so much time being sunk into those dragons in that top play, they're getting less value out of the second Baron buff of the game. But nonetheless, this game is going to be easier and easier to close out as more and more towers are going down. And the death timers only get longer from here. It looks like CWU finally did get that Guardian Angel.
Yeah, and the Guardian Angel is a really good buy, but I'm still kind of scared that we don't see the Navori. The Navori is just so good onto Zaya. Just how much damage you get from it. Whenever you just have attack speed and you don't have damage, it doesn't really work too well. We do see people trying to go onto the Yone.
The flash just getting out of Doggy, but that's going to be the cost of the tower as well. No major objectives being up other than towers and champions at this point. Just a slow playing it as CWU wants here. Forest is going to be so good here at tanking stuff out. Just look at the items that they have. They finally have a Forest of Nature. Just being able to stand there, stick on people, and survive a lot of this AP damage.
Yeah, and also like Yone does do magic damage, so Force of Nature does get 3 people away from damage. There is Tabby's also, so Tabby's does knock away from the Udyr damage from his Q, and then Yone damage also, because his main damage
Autos,
source
yeah.
is just his auto attacks. There is a Bush Cheese going on from CWU. I feel like
CWU's,
Leona
they're
is
getting caught out again. Same story, and that's all she wrote as they got caught out yet again.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel bad for this Leona. This Leona has been caught out so often.
Fate
And
Unsealed
it's been
being
from these bush.
having to go back to their soul here. Tower is being pressured. We're seeing more abilities go off, and it looks like the fight is just being pushed back to another tower here.
There is pushing towards the top side, getting the same objectives. That's why they're trying to back and see what's going to see if they can stop the Sivir from getting the tower.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to be able to stop it here, but are they going to get caught out? Level 17 will do that for you. A lot of auto attacks. Can't spell shield it quite yet, but with the extra movement speed that she was able to provide from On the Hunt, it looks like she might be able to get away here doing some more poke. Where did the boomerang go? It only went one direction.
I did not see it come back. I'm sorry.
I didn't see it either. Oh, bye-bye. Grandmaster at Arms says hello.
Yeah. And as we can see, Zaya is now level 17, which is higher than the Yone and the Udyr. This is just as a whole. That's basically a whole item on the Sivir being so high level. How much damage you gain from these levels and from your abilities and your just passive attack damage and everything like that.
Yeah, level 16 super duper important, and each level is like a long sword's worth of items. More supportal combat happening there, but nothing coming through, no major abilities being used at this stage. But they are down one key champion here. Sivir is down, Armidas is, with this Baron buff coming out. Do you think they're going to be able to stall long enough for her to come back?
I do feel like it. As we can see, Ari and Wukong looks like they're both trying to recall. Wukong did cancel it though. They are trying to look for recall. Ari does have TP, so she can TP back whenever she would like it. We pray to God Leona does not get caught out again. We'll see how that goes from Bush Cheeses. I think as they've been Bush cheesing quite a bit from CWU.
Yeah,
Bush starting the Baron.
Starting the Baron. So much damage going in. It looks like it's not going to be sunk through, but are they going to get caught out here? We'll have to see. Llama getting in. The Cyclone coming through, catching out Llama. Fate Unsealed. Probably going to be happening to BVLX here as they go down. Achilles trying to sink as much damage in to the enemy AD carry here, but that's going to be a double kill here again for Alpaca. Slimy Doggy trying to get another kill there as well. Raptor not looking great for them, flashing away the cologne as they have to kind of walk around to their tower. They might be safe, but it looks like that's going to be like getting pushed away. The bonk happening here. They're going to be getting out with their life, but that's going to wrap it.
Yeah, I feel like that team might kind of seal the game as they get sold from this, and they can just end the game towards mid. And as long as they team fight, Bubex will lose.
Yeah. It's not over till the fat lady sings, but it's not looking quite good. Alpaca has a teleport and a Baron buff, more importantly, here as well, so they can rotate to whatever play. A lot of, not exposed inhibitors, but they basically are with how much damage these teams are going to be able to pump out. Alpaca's death cap and their fourth item here as well. Just so much happening into these games. And, of course, they have split pushers as well, as you've highlighted.
Yeah, Smiley Dog does have the TP, so he can TP to these side lanes and see what he can do. He just bought a Maul. I feel like with the Maul, he's able to 1v1 Mordekaiser now. And be able, even in his death realm, it won't matter. Mordekaiser is definitely going to need help towards Jax, especially with the Infernal Soul.
Big magic shield plus a lifesteal. Formula for success here, but they are in a 1v2 here. Will the Grandmaster at Arms be able to get out? Looks like that is going to be a yes, but they do have some lovely friends coming up here as well to rotate for this top tower should they want it. They're not going for this mid tower here.
I'm a little surprised. We don't see CWU trying to push towards the end as they try to get the most out of this Baron buff. But it looks like they're just chilling away. They're just trying to push waves and seeing what they can get out of them. See if they can catch anyone out.
Bing chilling gaming here. If they're not going to be able to get as much value out of this Baron buff, that is good news for Blue Vex in this setup. But it looks like the wave clear has been a big portion of the success from Blue Vex here. So just watch this wave clear and bouncing damage into Spongehead there as well.
Yeah, so they had a third of his HP from just bouncing damage. That looked like a Philios almost with Chakram.
Yeah. Chakram do that.
Yeah, it looked very, very similar to that. There was a lot of bounces from the cannon onto Sponge.
Yeah, the flip side, oh my gosh. So much wave clear coming out of Llama here as well. Baron minions, though, are kind of thick. 2 Cs being able to tank stuff up here. Doggy's not going to be able to get this. So much healing.
Baron buff does run out, so there is no more Baron buff now. But there, as we were describing, there's so much minion lane clear. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, wave clear.
I was blanking from wave clear.
40 minutes into this first game here, and so much pressure is being put into Blue Vex, but they've been able to stand strong and protect a lot of these towers, which is really good news for them. One team fight could change this game. If they're able, either team's able to get an ace, they could end. Exposing mirror on the top side for CWU, and of course, very little towers for Blue Vex. So very, very important. Once one of these team fights starts, it'll be a game changer.
Yeah, we hope that somehow Blue Vex does maybe come back, as we can see. You know, it's trying something.
Flash coming through the Cyclone. Return flash. Fate Unsealed happening. Grandmaster Arms trying to go in. He's going to have to jump back in here. But we're seeing Achilles going in. Grandmaster Arms trying to peel out here. The Maw not being enough here as well. Catching out the clone, but that's not going to get you the 150 gold shutdown onto Forest here.
This could mean that there's going to be maybe an Elder flip this game, as it couldn't end with the Baron. Whoever gets Elder might be able to come back to this game if Blue Vex does get it.
Yep. Baron buff, minute and 30 seconds. Elder Soul happening in roughly 2 minutes, so that's going to be a little bit closer towards that end. But either of these could be changing fights here. Either team just getting more gold under the characters, trying to get some more items to change through. Also, very important for them as well. Stopwatch on Raptor's side, should they need it.
And there is the Navori on to Xayah, as we finally see as the last item, which is very good, which could really get CWU a lot of damage into the team fights. A lot more damage. They already had the damage. There's a lot more damage now.
It looks like CWU is hedging their bets here. Look at the vision that they have into the Drake Pit. And we're already seeing Spongehead go around here, possibly doing some warding as well for this setup. They might be able to get caught out, though, if they don't have an ally to jump to. But that's not the case. Blue Vex taking up so much space here, standing strong, united. You knew they were going for that vision, that double control word ping.
Yeah, and Forest just back to gotta pray that Blue Vex doesn't engage onto them with this Leona, and before Forest does, but Forest looks like it does come back to Udyr does.
Grandmaster at Arms jumping into Llama here, trying to push out the jungler away from these major objectives, trying to go in for the 1v1 with the Borg. We've seen the Cyclone going through to protect their AD carry here. Spongehead going in for the 2v1 here. Well, the main fight happened to the mid side. Alpaca getting caught out here. Tortuga getting a kill on to Raptor here. The Feather Pull coming through, able to stay strong. GA not quite popped yet. Small Dog able to catch BLVX here as we see Shady Llama getting caught out here. The Guardian's Angel going in. A triple kill happening for CWU and an ace.
Yeah, I almost thought that maybe Blue Vex could have maybe won that, but it was very close. And Fertile Soul did a lot of damage with the Xayah, too. The Xayah just happened to do so much damage from having Navori, Lord Doms, and being full build, being so high level. But Braum did abandon his team for the Mordekaiser, but it looked like it worked out in the end, and CW does take the win.
11K gold lead will win games.
They will always win games, unless you're in my ranked games.
Yeah, but this isn't solo duo. This is competitive. We're all in a nice Discord here. We'll have to see how these teams are going to bring it back into game 2 here. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Style Esports. I'm Abbatrombone, and this is joined by Bard as well as we go into game 2 in this best of 3 of CWU versus Bluevex. CWU took the first game here. Do you have any predictions for bans at all that already haven't happened?
No, I feel like they're probably going to be going to the same things. I do feel like Wukong was definitely a strong pick there. So Wukong could be banned onto, but it looks like they're going to be sticking with the same exact bans from on both sides here.
Same exact bans. Do you think it was maybe just they weren't quite together, Bluevex, and that's why they felt like they lost, and that's why they don't feel like they need to adjust into the ban phase right now?
I do. I feel like Bluevex was definitely caught out a lot too. They had their team fight comp was just mainly a 4v5 comp instead of just a team fight comp. But that's how it could crumble sometimes, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sometimes how it crumbles. Live by the death bush, die by the death bush. And it looks like they're changing things out just right now. Looks like, okay. Let me reset the score.
Yeah, Amumu definitely is a pretty easy champion to just come across with. His ultimate with the Monarch is just so much damage and can really spread apart team fights every single time. Very easy champion to clear jungle with, and I feel like Amumu was one of the best, if not the best, low elo jungler that we have ever seen. Just how easy it is to team fight with him and get all the CC with everyone. Able to also trade a lot of magic resist too.
Yeah, able to get that. And of course, Vex is going to be able to get, or I should say, Vi is going to be able to get some with the cease and desist there with their all in and hold people down. For the Ezreal here as well, who's going to be able to poke things out. Both teams look like they want some form of engage here.
Yeah, there does come the Akali, but Amumu, the thing with also Amumu too is that he can be flexed into the support role, and so we could see Amumu jungle or support, depending on what kind of pick Crimson does do. Crimson does have Ezreal, so Amumu kind of doesn't really want to go onto the support role here, as Ezreal is very hard to lock down and Amumu to even use. Ezreal does, though, whenever you do have it engaged, you could engage on support, and support Ezreal can't really do much damage to trade back towards Amumu or any ADC that they do have.
One thing to note is Arcane Shift does have a long cooldown, right? And there are 2 bandages, so there is some merit to it going off, but it does make things quite difficult. And if the support's squishy, like if you have some sort of enchanter down, especially if you're able to get that with Amumu. Ezreal needs some time to set up to get some of that damage. He's going to be strong, though, into this mid-game.
And there is a Sivir ban, so it looked like they did not like phasing with the Sivir. As Vi does want to lock down the ADC too, though. So
imagine you're fighting Bluevex here, and then Akali just has some extra movement speed on top of her billion dashes. Like, holy, I can't blame them for banning Sivir.
Can't blame him either. I power ban that champion in every single solo queue game I play.
Exactly. Holy cow. Jinx, Kaisa, and Sivir being banned. No AD carries having fun.
Oh yeah, no, they do not want their AD carries to be onto the board. Looks like there is the Lux ban, so they're trying to ban these safe mid laners. Maybe for the Akali, it should be very better. There is 3 mid lane bans versus 3 ADC bans. You can tell where the priority is kind of coming from too.
Yeah, and Crimson doesn't have a support either. They could have gone for a cheeky Lux support for so much poke damage with Ezreal.
Oh yeah, and Lux does pair very well with Ezreal. But I feel like there's a lot of like front to back coming off from CWU. But with Akali and Mumu, Urgot, they could just get into. They could throw away front to back completely with how much they're able to just go into the team. There's not much stopping Bluevex to count them.
CWU certainly has a lot of peel right in front line with Mundo, Vi, and Aria as well. We saw how well that pick worked for them as well. But with this adjustment, Bluevex is going to be kind of slippery with this Akali. And they have some nice lockdown in return as well. And the Kaylin going to be able to space things up. The Yordle traps, if they show up first, can really zone people out.
Yeah, and also if they're especially looking for objectives are really shown to Caitlyn's really shown to just lock down in a completely area that make sure that CWU does not go through that one area unless they have a dash, of course. I mean a teleport. Ari does kind of stop the Amumu a little bit. Ari does sort of counter Amumu. It's mainly based on a skill type matchup because of Amumu throws out his Q and Ari charms. The interaction stops Amumu, but Ari does have to react to that advantage to be thrown out.
It looks like we are getting that engage with Nautilus. It does make the Euro trap slightly awkward with the placement because our Nautilus pulls people. It's around like that halfway mark. But if they do end up catching someone out, they're going to be able to do that. Of course, Mundo going to be immune to a lot of the CC. At least the first instance with his passive. It can be quite beefy into some of these fights.
There is the Tom Kench Ezreal being the safest lane you could possibly be in against Nautilus. They're just going for disengage. The support can't really play the game with how much disengage they have almost.
Unbench the Kench. Although he's going to have a harder time getting away as just one auto from Nautilus will prevent him from doing that little dip out.
That is true, but there's so much shielding and so much disengage CWU Crimson does have. It's going to be very hard for Blue Vex to get on top of them. No matter how much front to back or how much dashes they have, they have 4 more dashes on top of it.
Auto Q, auto R. Each whoever engages.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going into the champ select here. Who do you think has an edge overall in this game? Do you think it's going to be Crimson? Do you think they're going to get a clean 2-0? Or do you think Blue Vex is going to snap back this game and get a game of their own in this set?
I do feel like that Blue Vex does have the chance. I feel like both teams are just known for just being able to... Sorry. They're pretty even. Like, both teams had a fighting chance that game. No matter the comp or no matter the players, they both had a fighting chance. CWU just happened to come out on top. But I do feel like, though, that Blue Vex might be able to take over the game.
Or do you think that's because of part of the early Caitlyn push that they're going to be able to go for? Or what leads you to that decision?
I feel like the leaders to this decision is the fact that there's a Mumu Nautilus, and a Mumu Nautilus is just so hard CC, and they have so much of it, where it's gonna be so hard to do damage if they're constantly CC. The Dr. Mundo does stop that though, and he is a tank, so he is going to be doing a lot of damage, no matter if he's a tank, bruiser, or assassin. He is still an assassin being a tank. Vi is also going to be, her ultimate is going to be really, really crucial, I feel like, especially towards the Caitlyn, being able to lock her down. She might even go lethality just to be able to kill the Caitlyn, because there's not going to be much follow-up besides maybe a Tom Kitch W. The follow-up onto the Vi is not really there to execute onto the Caitlyn. So just because of that, just because I feel like Blue Vex has more of a comp that is synergized as well, and I feel like CWU just doesn't have that synergy with their comp, as Vi is just kind of there, not really a disengage per se. It would have been maybe better with a Xin Zhao being able to knock people away or engage depending on how he feels like he wants to go towards these fights. But Vi was picked, and that's how it's just gonna go, I guess.
Interesting. You don't think the Ari Vi Rome is going to be able to prevent some of these team fights that's going to be happening on Blue Vex's side?
I feel like Blue Vex could almost just ARAM mid lane and then end the game from just running down mid lane, as their team fight is so strong. If the split pushing does account towards this though, as if Blue Vex cannot team fight and they're forced to stop the split push, I'm gonna be honest, they can't fight mid there with 3 people, as Caitlyn is the only one who will be doing damage. Amumu probably will, as he is a tank, and tanks in this meta do a lot of damage for no reason. But I feel like they're just not going to have the damage to be able to kill anyone in mid lane. And also at the same time, Mundo will outkill Urgot, as he's been seeing this Bramble and the Warden Mail being able to shut down all of Urgot's damage, especially in the later games. Akali and Ari, Akali usually does lose this, as the charm just cancels all of the dashes, especially with the ultimate. And so, because of all of this, I feel like Blue Vex just needs the team fight. They need to find an objective and they need to force a fight onto that objective. They cannot let the split push happen. They need to start something and just go with it.
All right. And with that analysis onto both sides of the team thing, I think we will wait until the spectator delay comes in, get some stuff done on the production side. Stay tuned for this exciting best of three, CWU versus Blue Vex. We'll see who comes up on top. Hello and welcome back. We will see who is going to go on top. UWC, who took game one, or if it will be Blue Vex here going in with a 5-point. I'm joined here by the one and only Bard. Who do you think is going to get this first blood?
I do feel like though. I definitely do feel like the first blood you said.
Yeah, first blood.
First blood. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's mid lane almost. Already does have the setup gank for the vibe. There's a lot of CC. Akali does have the E and the flash to get away, but I feel like mid lane is definitely a spot to look at in this early.
All right, yeah. We did see Alpaca get a lot of value here into the mid lane here. They end up going TP again rather than the Ignite, but they still have the Electrocute, which could be quite nice for them.
Yeah, and especially with the early game trades, there is the Ignite onto the Akali though. The Ahri did have TP, and it was definitely well received last game. The Akali Ahri being all over the map, being able to TP to fights, and being able to just be there in all fights.
Gotcha. And it looks like we're thinking Raptors feels like they're very safe as they're starting with a call for a first item here, and Doggy thinks they're just going to be able to stack their grasp of the Undying here, trying to get that beefy HP so he can go where he pleases.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised I don't see Caitlyn with the Cole, as Tom Kench and Ezra are not going to be able to do much. Same with Caitlyn and Nautilus. It looks like it's just going to be a stalemate lane.
Caitlyn has a Dorian's Blade.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised I don't see the call onto the Caitlyn.
Oh, I thought you said they had a call as well.
No. I'm surprised I don't see one. It looks like such a boring lane to be in. Might as well farm it with the Cole.
Yeah, my guess is they were seeing the Tom Kench one. Well, there's potential for an all-in lane and some poke, the extra HP, lifesteal could be nice here. Maybe they don't think that they're going to be able to get an all-in here with it, just being so safe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like the bot lane is going to be doing much this game. There is a hook onto.
Oh, is there a hook?
Oh, that was like some. Sorry, I had a little moment there with the burp. I couldn't tell if my burp was going to come out or not.
Yeah, that happens. Some more trading happening in the mid lane. We saw in game one this farm lead happening into the top and mid side. It's staying consistent amongst the mid side. But the top side, we have changed hands. Raptor having the farm lead here, but mid lane staying the same. Bot lane being fairly even in farm here as well. And there's a slight lead into game one here as well. So it looks like Blue Vex is adjusting here, and both junglers are not pathing towards the top side. We are splitting from our junglers here. Potential gank angle here as well, or to the top side. The hook coming through on Tortiga here. The lashed tongue coming out, but no kill happening. They did take a lot of damage on the side of CW.
Yeah, and I feel like in terms of as all in from Urgot, we could see maybe an Urgot first blood onto the top side.
Oh, hold that thought. Force coming in. The Tom Kench disrupting the anchor coming through. A lot of damage. Forcing out that flash. A flash coming up into the top side. The dive going in. First blood going into Raptor.
Yeah, as we saw, he was looking very aggressive, and Mundo could have almost predicted that. I believe it was down towards the top side as he saw the E go in onto the Mundo, trying to proc the spell shield off from the Mundo. There's a double CS lead on to Urgot right now. It's going to really spell trouble towards
mid lane. The charm just missing, so no kill happening. Yeah, I loved that. Hold on. The arcane shift going through. Some more damage going into Spongehead here as well. Caitlyn does like pushing up.
Yeah, this game does not seem that boring so far. There is a lot of action happening to every single lane right now.
More action happening in mid lane. You'll love to hear it. I'm going to have to make sure I'm down gargling the water so I can get all these juicy plays coming in. The charm just almost missing here. They're so close. Akali being a ninja, slipping out here, having to get a recall here. But a lot of these earlier plays have been paying off for Blue Vex here. What do you think they should be doing with the slight lead that they have right now?
I do feel like they should be pushing down towards the dragon. I don't feel like Dragon is too important right now, though. Just because
Mhm.
as you could get Dragon, you could push these leads on Dragon, but Dragon sometimes can make you lose tempo
Oh
for
yeah,
wave states and how much CS you have.
yeah, absolutely. Dragon forces you to commit a lot of resources. So early dragons pre 6 or maybe even pre 8, I think, is kind of throwing almost. So I certainly agree with that. Just trying to get some more of this gold. The rotations have been quite nice with the split up junglers here. I don't see them trying to join sides anytime soon with how this has been going, especially with how camps have been respawning.
Yeah, and also I feel like maybe not even go Dragon. A Mumu could maybe look for an invade with Nautilus, possibly, and
Mm.
that could maybe look for spell trouble as a Mumu is a little bit up in gold, not fully, but it's there with the 2v1
300.
situation. Yeah, it's there, and with 2v1 situation, it could very easily stop the Vi from getting much of her things, and then I can stop the gank
Well,
potentials that she does
and
provide.
more importantly, that's boots at 300 gold too, which is really important for junglers being able to get their camps. It's clear speed effectively and lets you roam for all of these fights as well and catch up to close out some of these ganks. It looks like they might be trying to fight for some vision in the dragon here, potentially, with all these pings.
Yeah, I do feel like CWU did focus dragons a little bit, so they possibly could be looking for a dragon fight or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and seeing if they could possibly get a dragon.
Early dragon, ocean, extra sustain on all these champions. Very nice for frontline, or if you use mana or any other resource. It's just nice to have.
And the only problem is though is this, that we've seen the past at least the past game was that the support did a lot and was caught out quite a bit before these fights did happen. So let's hope that we don't see that one this time for the dragon fight.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see that quite as much here. We're pushing towards that 8 minute mark. We're seeing the dragon ping up. It looks like CWU really does want this dragon. They have priority mid, they have priority bot side. They have some vision here, but they're going to have to get this pink ward here, which makes it a little bit dangerous for them. We'll have to see if there's any roam or catch potential onto them. As the mid wave crash is happening, making things a little bit harder. But if you're able to get these farm safely, that could be all they need. The arcane shift just being a little slow here. The W proc coming in. The ultimate just securing things. Spongehead taking the kill here. The exhaust coming through. Forrest trying to get another kill, but the ultimate coming out of Llama here. The pull, the fear not quite coming through, but people are dangerously low here. That is one kill onto one for each. One for each.
One for each, but one is on the support and one is on the Urgot. That's really good towards Blue Vex being able to get the dragon also at the same time. But
Yep.
does shove in, so it makes it to where they are not able to. Urgot does get the CS lead down towards a little bit, but does get a kill.
Yep.
Mundo trying to punish as much as he can from that Urgot TP.
Tanks
Or
not good at pushing, especially if they only have a ruby crystal for their labor of their work. Not to mention, the support got the kill there too, and the AD carry died. And we mentioned before, or at least you pointed out, that XP difference was a big game changer into game one.
Oh yeah, 100%. And as we saw in the game one, Azaya was almost up the whole item because of how much level she was up onto the other ADC. I believe it was two levels from last game. But also at the start of that dragon fight, as we saw
going through the ultimate, getting caught out into the mid lane here. Alpaca is finally dying in this set.
Yeah, she did not have the ultimate to stop the ganking thing. This could also start from a Rift Herald that they're pinging it right now. Urgot is very strong and pushed in top side. Mid is even right now. This could really start a Rift Herald and push into mid lane. Mid lane is probably the place you want to push towards, and with the Rift Herald at least, it's just because you can get those dragons and get all objectives as you can, while the mid lane is pushed on. Mid lane has prio, every lane has prio.
Yeah, and Urgot just having all of this gold here. What he's up 700 gold roughly onto his laner, which is quite important on a lot of champions here. As that be a Sheen, but he's just a good gold sponge. He can really carry games. He needs all these items, so getting these early kills and the farm super important. But the Warden's Mail on the other side, important on the counter item.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, this Warden's Mail Urgot does not do damage whenever you have Warden's Mail. It stops a lot. Warden's Mail did just get recently nerfed with it all because of how
through into Tortiga. Oh, no fight. Okay.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like the Warden's Mail just stops a lot of the damage from Urgot.
Llama going in, the cease and desist going through as well. Forrest getting pulled into the belly. Yum, yum, yum. Slime Doggy getting chunked here, but he is ultimate going through, trying to heal things up as much as possible. That Warden's Mail putting in the work. It's already stopped 100 damage so far.
As you saw, Mundo was almost out healing the damage that Urgot was producing from right there.
Super important item. The Rift Child coming through, getting some turret plates here. So much gold happening here. A cult not fully stacked here, but 3 plates going in. Are they going to be able to get him? And it looks like that's going to be the case. Some turret shots going in, not going to be enough. The Tithe into the bot side, not quite there. The Orbital Trap now landing. The return coming in, Spongehead backing off.
Yeah, maybe they might see a trade down here in the mid lane as Akali is so high on health.
Oh no, the abilities missed. The charm not going through. The ultimate catching through. The turret shots will close it out. Looks like that's going to be a no. Blue Vex.
Yeah, it looks like Blue Vex, Akali was so high level, not so high levels, but so high health that she could just dive on. As long as that Ari misses a charm, there is nothing that Ari can say about it.
Yeah, that charm is very important there. And the sword boots, right? The magic penetration, also very helpful for them with the blasting wand. Now, they are down a flash as well. Alpaca does have TP here. Now,
Dragon is coming up, so maybe we could see a dragon fight possibly towards the bot side, seeing how many people they can get.
We could be seeing that as well. Look at that CS lead into the bot side. Like, that's pretty massive. That makes up for the 1 death for sure. They're up a level as well, which is quite nice for them. Big item for them. Essence Ruby. That charm, though. Holy.
Yeah, and that Ari was that was a really good reaction from the flash from the Ari and getting the charm off onto
Tortiga getting caught out. The exhaust coming through. The depth charge. The cleanse. The return force coming in. The Q landing, getting a kill there, but it looks like a dive into the top side is going to be happening here. Urgot going through ace in the hole, trying to get Spongehead, not quite getting it. The lash missing, and it looks like we're still getting the kill here. The ultimate going through, a double kill on Armidas here. Will it be a triple with this Ignite landing here? Alpaca getting Ignite.
Yeah, as we were discussing earlier, Blue Vex is just so ahead right now. It is going to be very hard for CWU to catch up. It is only a 3K gold lead from Blue Vex, but Blue Vex is just really ahead for kill, especially that Urgot. Urgot does rush the Black Cleaver, which is really good into that Warden's Mail rush, and he already has it being at 13 minutes and having Rick Tread at the same time. There's been like no CC from towards the top side, and it's gonna be very hard for this Mundo to actually even be ahead or even be close to even from this Urgot.
Yeah, almost has that coal fully stacked here. I will mention though, it is close to 3K at this point. You're right, being more and more extended. The farm is the only saving grace we have for CWU as they're getting caught out. Alpaca going in, but Spongehead trying to go in and save them as well with that big shield, eating up people as the glutton he is. Although Raptor going in as well, the blast cone's going to be enough to save him.
Yeah, we can see the XP lead also in the jungle is that Shady Llama does have a higher XP towards onto Force here. This is just I remember needing to be able to get level 11 for his ultimate, and both junglers also just having straight ultimates that really are relied on in both team fights and both strategies that both do have. It looks like though. Wait, hold on, what?
I don't.
Is that a Cloud Dragon coming up?
It is a slightly bugged here. Once you have Hex or Chemtech. It just uses the previous ones. Riot hasn't fixed this over several patches, but it is Hex Dragon that will be coming up in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Although I'm back at getting dove again. Oh, the turret shot! The shutdown!
It is only 150 gold shutdown, but that shutdown is actually really good for Ari. It gets her at least something.
The Arcane Shift going through the tongue lashes as well, tanking into the Nautilus.
Yeah, it was. As we were saying, like, it is Chemtech, though. Chemtech is just not. It doesn't have the damage or the dragon as you would want, as Infernal Soul was their last game, to really get CWU into the game. Blue Vex almost doesn't even need the dragons now for how.
Oh, the dive getting in the support there as well. Arminius could be dove here as well. Cease and desist is still up here, so we'll have to see if they're going to be respecting it. Looks like that is, which means that's going to be a potential first turret with 3 people wailing on it.
That's actually really bad for Blue Vex here, because Blue Vex really needs to just take a lead and push with it, but they're slowly dwindling. The Mundo does get caught out though.
Oh, the ultimate coming in. Doggy might be going down here. Alpaca not going to be enough here, getting eaten by Raptor as well. Top tower, super low.
This Urgot so strong. They might be popping Rift towards the top side and almost ending with just Urgot.
He's got half the team's kills.
Yeah, but it's crazy. He's so strong. I can see though. Down to the bot side though, I don't know how Nautilus is 0-3-0 and Caitlyn having 2-0-1.
He is dying for his AD carry, making sure they don't get that shutdown, as every good support does.
We sure hope so.
Now, the big vision gap into the bot side, I think, is quite important here. Blue Vex only has 9 vision on their support, but 24 coming out of Spongehead. Pretty interesting. Oh, engage happening here onto Spongehead. They're not being able to get out as they're rooted. The Arcane Shift coming in. But the dashes coming in with the Ignite there as well. Flashing out, trying to get it. Are we going to be able to see any return here as 4 people are there? Or is that the full team? That's a full 5 stack here, sitting around setting up for this dragon.
Yeah, and Riot really needs to fix these 4 dashes that Akali has. She was down towards where Amumu is right now and somehow got all the way down to second tier tower with just dashes and abilities.
Yeah. I mean,
nothing Ezreal can say about that. It was a done deal.
Yeah, Proto Belt plus her kit plus reset plus ratio. Like,
it's crazy.
It is certainly crazy here. And once Akali gets ahead and has a stopwatch and a mythic at this point, that's pretty good for your side. So you can be able to split on the side or just catch people out. Death Bush worked last game.
Yeah, it was working a lot last game, especially with the Nautilus or the support that was there last time.
Here, Tortiga going through. The Rift Herald trying to come through it. Not going to be stopped here, but they're not carrying. Just trying to get some extra damage onto these so important characters here. More pokes happening here. Oh my gosh, Tortiga going over the wall, trying to get stopped. The ultimate coming down, all of the CC getting out, saved by their AD carry. Force, not able to get it. Ace, and the hole not quite being enough. The belly of Raptor taking it, flashing in for the fear, flipping over for the airborne proc, using the shotgun knees there, taking turret shots, 1v1ing, 2v1ing, going down for the 850 gold towards Forest. 3 losses to 3.
Yeah, and also I thought it was Chemtech, but it's actually Hextech Soul. Hextech is really good.
Yeah, for both sides. Who doesn't like
both sides.
Cooldowns and attack speed?
Yeah, especially like with Ezreal and how much abilities they have to just proc the Hextech. So I mean, them having Hextech Soul, getting these Hextech drags is so good.
Mm-hmm. What if you wanted to get away, but Hextech Dragon said no?
That has happened to me before in a lot of ranked games, actually.
Yeah. Storm Razor on everyone?
Yeah, I have blamed XX Soul for my losses sometimes.
Here, red team taking the dragon here, but it looks like Force is going to be paying for their life here as well. Spongehead taking a lot as well. Punished for it. Tortiga trying to get some return poke. This blue buff certainly is going to be the consolation prize for the dragon.
Yeah, I feel like that Vi needed it back before getting that dragon or something, because she did have that 800 gold shutdown from the Urgot, but was not able to use that gold and push that gold lead into whatever fight they were going to be doing.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good to die with 2,000 gold on you at the time.
It does not.
Now, they are down 3,000 gold here, so that would have even exacerbated it even more. And with their jungler being dead, it's going to be a little bit longer for this, which means Vex, Blue Vex, is going to be able to get some wanted vision here as well. Now, these timers, not quite as important because of the Hex Gate. You get a little bit of degeneracy here, so you can move around even more if Akali needed that, along with the rest of their team. But with these sidelings being pushed up, do you think some of the scaling aspects that have been happening on CWU are going to be enough to help them out at all?
Honestly, when I'm seeing Urgot here with 2.5 items and Mundo at 1.5, it almost looks like it's just Urgot's already scaling up past what they can right now. It's going to be a while before they can even challenge the raid boss Urgot on the top side. Kali also does have a lot of gold onto her, being 5 and 2. She just seems to not have as many items as she did by the Dark Seal, and is going towards the Zonia's area. The Zonia's is really good, especially being the dive person that she is. She needs to dive in there and just try getting out. Zonia's is really going to help with that. But I feel like Blue Vex is so ahead with 2 main people, or mainly even just one main person. And because that person if they just peel for that person with the Moo ultimate and the Moo bandages and the Nautilus, they can really just carry that Urgot into the enemy Nexus and pop it.
That certainly seems to be the case. And like you were kind of pointing out, Smile Doggy getting a 20-minute mythic, not where you want to be when it wants to stack here as well. And Spongehead didn't get it super early on as well, even with that early kill that they ended up getting. And, Akali, mid lane is ahead. Their top side certainly ahead. They still have a 300 gold shutdown. Oh my gosh, the fight happening in the mid, the Arcane shift away, the depth charge going in, and it looks like they're going to be paying for their life once again here. But Llama going for the counter dive here as well. Only for Tortiga to be eaten away in the stage.
Yeah, it seems like the stuff is caught out yet again. It's just like both games seems to be happening every single time.
Don't curse it. Don't curse it. Don't jinx it.
Hey, eventually, though, this Nautilus, will get one hook that will change the entire game. That does happen a lot.
Yep. One hook can change the game for life. Now,
yeah, and also I feel like, though, that the Mundo needs to not go for this maybe Heart Seal. Maybe shouldn't have gone just because it needs to be able to stack, as you were saying, and it's 20 minutes into the game. Maybe should have went for an Iceborne or Jack Show.
Iceborne, certainly a good pivot, I think. Just because of how it builds, you could have maybe got some early kills with some roams, so you could be able to shift into that scaling item. But with IBG, just being able to slow down some of this burst, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and also with the Iceborne, you're able to slow down the burst from the Akali because of how Iceborne does work. And then maybe you could shift into a Force of Nature or a Spirit Visage because you are Mundo to build that Spirit Visage. And you have the armor and MR to get towards it instead of just health. As there is Demonic Embrace, which does health damage, and a lot of things that can just stop the health stacking to not even matter.
That is true. That is true. Being able to stop some of that HP. If you don't have the resistances to match through it, it doesn't mean as much, especially if any grievous wounds can be applied, like through Ignite, to try and stop some of that into the top side as well with these more health-based champions like Tom Kent as well.
Yeah, you can see Tom Kinch does buy the Heartsteel, which is kind of surprising as you are on a support budget and you don't really have that much gold to push into full items. You usually want to go for the cheaper items, such as Locket. But Tom Kinch having the Heartsteel is not too bad, just because of how a lot of his stuff does scale off his HP with his tongue and everything like that.
The Death Bush going into Sponge, getting the root, flipping him over, just BAM! The Catfish going down, sinking into the river.
As you were saying, he has no resistances. He just has health. He is just a squishy health bot, and so because of that, he was able to get caught out just like that.
Yeah, and the lack of vision there also super important. It's his job to get the vision. Dragon taken here, not being stolen. But if you're not able to get some of this vision, it's so dangerous to go into that composition. You get peeled out by blue Vexes, mid laner, their split push top, or just any sort of out of the blue hook.
Yeah, and I do feel like though that like as we say that Nautilus, that one hook can change the game. It doesn't matter how many deaths you have and how low you are, how much gold you are to them. Is if you have a hook and an ultimate, you will be useful in every single fight. It doesn't matter how tanky you are.
Well, it can be super awkward with these dashes as well, because if you dash the wrong way, you might accidentally tag a team member. I may or may not have had that happen to me as an AD carry once or twice. Not salty. The ultimates going through. Alpaca just barely dying there. Going through Spongehead trying to save their teammates. But with this Urgot being so massive here, Spongehead's going to be going down. Not getting pulled through the belly here. But Ace in the Hole going through 2 kills happening onto Armidas. And it looks like this is a Baron.
Yeah, and as we can see, the Baron is just going to be taken here. Urgot does have Titanic, and there was a TP down to as a flank. Urgot was being an assassin in there while also being a tank. Warlock. It doesn't matter. There was a flash.
Not quite happening there. Llama's going to be able to stay safe on this Baron here. They still do have the Samite Smite here. Small Doggy Westing in the bot side trying to get some of this needed farm and XP here, but it looks like they might be 1v1 to death. Oh, the medicine time coming through here, trying to just tank things out, but with the support coming through as well, might not be enough. The stopwatch! Oh, and they ended up getting it, flashing through the hook here. Supportal combat, and it looks like Llama trying to catch things out here, succeeding with Raptor, getting another kill here. And it looks like Doggy might be
not dying.
Ace in the Hole, taking the kill.
I was kind of crazy. I was expecting the Mundo not to live there, as he does have health and armor, and being a Kali, being the assassin that she is, especially with Magic Pen being Sorks and the Hextech Bucket Belt. Didn't really think that Mundo would win there, but apparently he does, with being how much healing he does have with his ultimate.
It was close. It was close, especially with a 5k deficit. It seems like he shouldn't be the one winning there, only having 9,200 gold. But Akali also does have that much as well, so could have been paying off. And now he has a nice number of stacks as well, too short of nice, if you will.
I mean, that could really actually that kill on the Akali meant a lot towards the Mundo. Him having hit, because also you got to think of the mental game too. As the mental game, Mundo was probably down in his boots. He was probably sad. He was like, I cannot get a kill, and he got that kill on the Akali. Being able to survive that long, like he probably got his confidence probably just boosted through the roof onto there. And then just having the mental state, as we can see, as everyone sees in the ranked games nowadays, it is a therapy session whenever you're playing ranked nowadays. Yeah, it always works out whenever the tank does have a strong mental.
Yeah, it certainly does help. But they're also able to get some of those towers as well and stop some of the split pushing here with this being out. But this might not be the same case, as we're seeing Tondo get a lot of damage into them. The Ignite Grievous Wounds, preventing a lot of the healing here. They are still standing strong and confident into the bot side as mid tower falls.
Yeah, and I mean, that Sunfire is actually doing a lot more damage than you thought. And I swear I saw Bramble being bought from the Mundo, but I guess not.
He did buy it, and I think sold it. Yeah, it is pinged in chat.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess he did sell it. Or maybe he just like undid it. I don't know, but I feel like though he's trying to buy something, but I can't really tell what he's trying to go for. Maybe a frozen, maybe
a Frozen Heart, just trying to finish off the Warden's Mail.
Maybe something, because like I don't know about, because Randuin's doesn't sound too crazy. Because I mean, there's only one person, but that person's never gonna get close enough for you to actually proc that Randuin's on the Caitlyn. If you're close enough to get the Caitlyn, that Caitlyn should have been dead a while ago. Should not be doing the damage that she is going to be doing to you.
Yeah, or you got some insane flank, which you should not be doing as a tank. You in a little deep, homie.
Exactly. Like I don't know. So Frozen Heart could be popped, but there's no mana to be put onto that Frozen Heart. I don't fully know what's going to be pushed here. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to be bought.
Yeah, we'll have to see as Dragon happening in 5 seconds. This will be Soul for Blue Vex, something that they really want in this game setup. Is a game winner by itself as they're fighting over this vision.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this Mundo could actually spell trouble for Blue Vex. It's just I don't think Urgot being how much damage he's doing, and Mundo fully going armor and committing towards
the bandage missing, the depth charge going over here. Blast Cone's gonna be able to reset for a possible cease and desist. The ultimate going into the back line here. The flip. Tortiga ended up getting a kill here as well, but Armidis ending up catching Forest here into the river. And it looks like Spongehead trying to save their AD carry, which is not going to be happening as Ace of the Hole comes through. Not quite getting the kill here. More backliners ended up dying, but Raptor getting another double kill here as well. Armidis is in a little bit of a trouble spot as Alpaca is around, but they ended up getting through. The charm not quite landing. Smile Doggy has to fight 3 champions by himself as Alpaca is waiting for items to go through his abilities. The cleaver landing in, but Raptor is just so big. Alpaca was able to pick stuff off, but I don't think Alpaca is going to be able to stop this dragon.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Alpaca has to realize Urgot didn't use ult in that fight at all, and so he could just be ulted from a mile away and be able to be killed.
Oh, yep.
As I called it.
The caster's curse!
I guess I jinxed Alpaca there. My bad, Alpaca.
Well, that is a Hex Tech Soul here with
That's
a
so
7,000
good
gold lead.
Urgot having that Hex Tech Soul being able to just auto, and especially with this W, this is going to constantly proccing that Hex Tech Soul, and it's going to be so crazy.
There's
Death Dance being bought from the Urgot.
Not just that. Not just that. It looks like they're going in for a phage as well, potentially, for the extra movement speed, sticking onto targets. Like it. I like it.
I do like it too. I like this. So this Urgot is just giga chatting towards every single person. Not really much they could say about it. As there is the Randuin's bot from the Warden's Mail. Maybe we could see an MR item from Mundo. I hope that he buys Spirit Facade at some point. As a Moo and a Kali are both AP and will be doing a lot of damage towards Mundo, whether or not he has armor or not. It's gonna really do damage.
Well, it looks like we're going in here. The dive hitting Armidis here, but CWU able to get the arcane shift away, but still getting a second kill on Takanoro here. Spongehead going down into the mid lane. Ace in the Hole trying to get Alpaca. Not quite going through. 2 kills to 2 kills.
Yeah, and that Ace in the Hole did half of Ari's health, which I was not expecting, to be honest. I did not think that half the health would be happening from Ace in the Hole. They could probably do a combo where they do Ace in the Hole plus Urgot R. And it could work.
They could. Ace in the Hole, 1,028 damage right now with 3 items. Quite potent. Her headshot is at its strongest. She's hit level 13, and IE also benefits it as well. So her combo is going to be womboing.
Yeah, it looks like she's going for RFC to just maybe kite more and get, be more at range from the Mundo in there. And Tom Kench trying not to go top of her. In this meta, we like to be scared of tanks, as tanks are assassins in this meta.
Maybe not quite assassins, but they are still doing a decent amount of damage here.
They are quite damagey at some points.
It looks like Tortiga might be getting caught out here as the bandage goes through the arcane shift. That's not going to matter. Ace in the Hole getting eaten by Spongehead, trying to spit him out as well. The death charge probably securing this down and getting the kill on himself. Spongehead soaking up as much damage as he possibly can, but Tokano getting the kill. And that's 2 kills on the CWU.
Yeah, Blue Vex is on so much gold towards CWU. I feel like the last chance CWU might have is towards maybe an Elder, but I don't fully know. As Ezreal is going towards, it almost seems like Ezreal should have went Divine Sunder this game instead of the Essence Reaver build.
Essence Reaver, pretty good first item, but Divine Sunder as a second. They don't have their mythic quite yet. It looks like they're going for the lethality item as Forest is getting chunked down here. with the Baron going towards Blue Vex. This could be a potential light out as well. The wave clear is okay, right, with Alpaca and Tortuga, but that might not be enough with how big of the gold difference there is.
There's so much goal difference. The Baron fights are just it's not very it's very hard for CWU to actually push anything to try changing something around. There's not very many things that can. The only thing they can really do is if this Urgot gets shut down by either Ezreal or Ari. If it doesn't go on Ezreal or Ari, it doesn't really almost mean much if that shutdown is taken. How much gold there is.
Went down there as well into the bot lane as they're trying to siege things through. X-Tech trying to push stuff. Armidas does have a good siege here with some of their champions as well. Raptor can follow up on this. It's just a matter of time. Sitting there and waiting. They have the two strongest buffs in League of Legends right now, only rivaled by Elder Dragon, which they could potentially take here in a minute and 30 seconds.
Elder is definitely going to be the biggest fight. It could be the game changer. Elder, they need to pick. If Vi can somehow pick off Kali, Caitlyn, someone that can maybe deal with this Urgot alone, as he'll be doing most of the damage. Here comes the Mumu.
Ooh, the hook going into Spongehead here, walking away, not landing the trap afterwards. No Yordles caught here.
Yeah, and so I feel the Knight's Vow is bought onto Tom Kent, which he probably should put onto Ari almost, because Ezreal shouldn't really be doing much damage. Taking much damage, as he does have a flash built into his kit. We do have, as we can also see, their cooldown reduction that Ari will be having. There'll be a lot of charms being thrown out. There is being Cosmic Drive and also Leandri's being purchased here too.
Duskblade also got purchased finally by Tortuga, which I don't think makes sense into a Fed Urgot plus a Mumu plus a Nautilus. That's just
that's what I was saying. I definitely feel like the Sunder was definitely the play here.
Yeah,
as Urgot and Amumu are just and Nautilus.
Sunderer would have been so much stronger.
Yeah, you could have gone Divine Sunder and went Frozen Heart with a Mermana, and you would have been crazy strong, I feel like.
Yeah, he's super strong into the mid game, but with how far his team is, Caitlyn's just going to be headshotting people. Elder Dragon up right now. There's a death push happening here. Baron buff isn't being utilized to push waves, but they don't necessarily need to push the waves here, as this dragon could end the game.
And almost Macaulay at DP, she could be pushing top lane almost and just sit there and push as Urgot's going to be.
Just going through, Forest going in, getting caught out by Blue Vex. Here, Armida's able to get their AD carry. Tortuga down. The flash, the flip, Spongehead getting nommed here into the belly of a raptor. It looks like no Elder Dragon is going to be taken at this point. Just a siege into the mid lane here, catching Alpaca, getting the kill here. Not that they needed. And it looks like another flip potentially happening. The root, the ace in the hole, not quite being enough. I misspoke. Another auto coming out of Raptor here. 17-1.
It's definitely GG here over here, Trombone.
Yeah, GG here. But I believe this is a best of 3 here. Game 1 taken by CWU. Game 2, Blue Vex. How do you think that CWU needs to adjust to take Game 3 if they want it?
I feel like they need to adjust. It was they played it really well the first game, but it's just the Urgot was so strong, and the Mundo just didn't know how to handle it at the start. And because from that, it just all dialed down from there. Everyone got cleanup kills almost from the Urgot being able to flank and how ahead he was. And from there, they tried doing resources into the Mundo. From the Vi ganking top side, I feel like they just need to take a losing lane and try pushing towards other lanes that aren't losing as much.
All right. Well, with this being set up here, we'll do a brief intermission until the next game, while the next team's set up, as both teams are up right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Abbatrombone. We're back in this best of 3, 1-1 for Bluevex and CWU here. I'm joined here by Bard. CWU, blue side now. What do you think they're going to prioritize for picks?
I feel like that Urgot's about to get banned. I'm gonna be real with you, Trombone.
Yeah, that Urgot was sick, nasty here. But they want the priority pick. They get to pick first here. So do you think they're going to pick another engage support super early on? I've seen some success with that. Do you think they're going to start with their jungler so that they can really shape their team and get some of these more important junglers?
I don't feel like jungle is mainly the focus here. As I was saying earlier, Xayah is just such a prominent pick, and so unless you ban Xayah, I feel like you need to save like J4 or at least first pick J4, as J4 is so strong into Xayah. And that's why the first game, as you saw, CWU did have that Xayah pick, and there was no J4 to counteract it as they first picked jungle, and Xayah was able to tear through the entire team that was there. Jinx is picked first, though. This could mean that there's probably an enchanter that's going to be picked on CWU. Mylio is open, and Mylio does really well into Mumu, and also pairs extremely well with Jinx. So we could see a Mylio pick.
Milio, yep, does pair well with Jinx. Not super great into engage supports, which could be happening with Mumu Kai'Sa. But Mumu could also be into the jungle with a nice flex pick. Good option from Bluevex on the red side now, ironically. Jinx, super big hyper carry. Do you think there's going to go with some more tanky picks to help keep them safe? Or do you think they're going to go with something a little bit more structure than just over damage will be on Jinx?
Usually when you see Jinx, it's usually a pocket me type comp where it's just like a protect the president, and so they try to get a lot of peel for the Jinx. As we can see, the Wukong is the art. There's right there is your armor shred, and also a lot of peel because your ultimate. As we saw in the first game, there was a lot of peel on the ADC with the Wukong. There's the Lulu to pair well with the Jinx, which is going to go really well to polymorphing the Mumu when he does go in for his ultimate. Kai'Sa, she tries ulting in. So I feel like it's definitely going to be a protect me type comp that's going to come from for Jinx.
Ooh, Jinx, a tale as old as time.
There is a Mumu Nautilus Kai'Sa, though. This Jinx is going to have one of the hardest times to stay alive in these fights.
Nightmare mode unlocked. So you're going to have to survive through all of this. If you do get some earlier to these items, like second item, Infinity Edge, you can do a lot of damage into these tanks, especially if you get a Lord Dominus Regard or anything like that. And if Kai'Sa goes in too deep, Polymorph or Cyclone and stuff like that's going to make things difficult. We can play things front to back or for picks. But if these hooks go in too deep, it could be bad news for Bluevex. Or it can be really good if they end up landing them.
Yeah, and almost I could see maybe a Fiora pick here on the top side. As Fiora can really parry these Amumu and Nautilus things, and it's going to be very hard to shut down the Fiora split pushing, as you have to invest a lot of your stuff into this Jinx and into stopping her from doing fights. So maybe we could see a Fiora or Camille play, just trying to split push instead of trying to 5v5, because 5v5 does not look very good into Bluevex right now.
Well, don't forget about that Zed. Like, holy cow, that's nightmares for Jinx.
Yeah, they're playing Dead by Daylight over here, okay? That's what's going to be happening.
Cannon, good peel. AoE, and more importantly, AP damage.
It looks like CWU is saying, screw this, we're going to 5v5 with you, and they're going to be trying to 5v5. We might see how this could be an interesting game to see all these team fights happening. Could really rely on who gets a lot of kills, Jinx or Kai'Sa. And if Jinx had a lot of kills, then it could spell trouble for Bluevex. But if Zed gets a single kill, though, or a single lead, Jinx is out of there. Karma is picked up. Karma is really good with the mid lane, especially whenever you rush this Radiant Virtue item. When you rush the Radiant Virtue item, Karma turns into basically an AP bruiser. And she is able to heal and shield Jinx, and also the tether is going to be really well because it locks on wherever the shadow is. So if she just tethers the Zed, she will be eventually rooted, and so Jinx can get some free hits off into him without him having to be dashing around everywhere.
Radiant Virtue, from my understanding, has been built on armor for a little bit because of its nerf. So it might not be happening. They might have to be going for Shurelio's. At least I know that is the support role. We'll have to see if they do that more into the mid lane. Once you have a different gold income. Tahm Kench, though, they have so much HP on the side of Bluebacks to chew through.
Yeah, and like as we were talking about, the Wukong has a lot of armor shred, but does he? I don't think he has a lot of health shred besides maybe Sunder. Tahm Kench is going to have a lot of health. There's 3 tanky people onto their team, and then they have a Kaisa Zed willing to dive onto whoever Nautilus or Mumu catches out. Tahm Kench are going to really like just disengage anyone that does get low, such as Zed or Kaisa, as Kaisa and Zed are just mainly going to be the carries here.
Well, I don't think they can dive in too fast unless they're super far ahead, as Cannon Stun, Cyclone, Polymorph, Karma also de-incentivizes diving as well, so they might have to be a little bit more careful than just going in. At least Kaisa. Zed has a little bit more of a wishy-washy getting in out with the shadows.
Yeah, I feel like this all is mainly going to rely onto this Wukong and Kennen, how they use their ults. Are they going to save it and be patient with it, or are they going to use it and next thing you know, Jinx is getting dived on by 4 or 5 people and they can't really say much about it because their ults are already gone.
Now, Ultimate's going to be very crucial into this setup for sure. Wukong, we saw that go really, really well for CW Crimson here. So do you think that's going to really help out with some of these ganks? They got a lot of gold onto them very quickly and really helped their team with the peels.
Yeah, and CWU, and also like, we usually actually are on the same page. Bluevex, as we could tell, has been having some communication issues. There's been a couple times where people have been cut out, or because people are more on the same page, as it would seem. But CWU, known for actually having that same page and same communication, could actually really get onto Bluevex. Bluevex needs to time their engages with each other. Amumu and Nautilus need to go in together. If Nautilus just goes in and there's no Amumu follow-up, Nautilus is just a sitting duck. Is that Kennen jungle?
They have time to swap around.
Oh, okay.
They have 30 seconds to swap. Be kind of funny if it was a Jinx top Kennen jungle.
Sure.
Throw this analysis out the window here. Going full monkey mode.
I know. I was about to lose. I was about to be like, what? But yeah,
No,
they're swapping. But a little bit of fun and games in CWU town. See, but yeah, as I was saying, I feel like though that Amumu and Nautilus need to come in with each other. Same with Tahm Kench. So Tahm Kench follow up with his W can only be hit onto the CC target. So Nautilus and Amumu need to ping on who's going where and how this is going to be handled. Kaisa will be able to follow up on anything with a press of an R. Same with Zed being able to W, shadow right in and get his ult off onto Jinx here, as Jinx is going to be the main target.
All right. Now, yeah, Jinx, super important here. Do you think if Jinx goes down, maybe people are low in Bluevex, that Wukong or maybe Cannon can pick up some of these kills? Or do you think it's just going to be fights over? Crimson lost?
I think Kennen is a very strong pick lately. Lately, I've been facing a lot of Kennens, and Kennen, I swear, has the most underestimated damage ever. He ults and then he presses W, and next thing you know, your team's half health. He has an Elder buff built into his kit. It's crazy to watch sometimes. I'm actually excited to see the Kennen damage in here because Jinx, yeah. There's a lot of stuff focusing on top of Jinx, but Kennen is a secret silent carry on the backside, and I feel like Kennen will be doing probably most damage in these team fights rather than Jinx. But Kennen will have a stopwatch, so that will stop a lot of their dive onto Kennen. Yeah,
that could be that. If he does get that, that's super important. One last question here: do you think Jinx will be going for a possible Runance as? We see Bluevex is going to be kind of clumped together with all of these tanks, or do you think they're going to be trying to stay safe with a different Zeal item?
I feel like though Jinx needs to be, no matter what Jinx does, she buys Geld for, she does whatever she wants. There's no running away from a Nautilus ult and then follow up with all of that. I feel like Jinx needs to go as much damage as she can. because if the more distraction on Jinx, the more damage she's doing, the less focus is on Kennen doing the damage or Wukong doing the damage, right? And if Jinx is not doing that much damage with just trying to be safe, they won't care about Jinx anymore. Then they'll go for Kennen, they'll go for these Wukong, and the next thing you know, Kennen is dead, and what's Jinx gonna do? Gale Force? He's not gonna do much. I do feel like Runons is definitely a good play here for her to go.
All right, we've heard it here. I guess we haven't talked about one thing. Who do you think is going to be winning this set? Is this the last game?
I have my cards on Blue Vex.
Blue Vex, you heard it here first from Bard. Stay tuned. We'll see who actually wins this game, whether it be Blue Vex, the favored team by our color caster, or CW Crimson. Hello and welcome back to Summoner's Rift here. I'm joined back by the one and only Bard here. The last game in this best of three. We'll have to see if CWU or BlueVex ends up taking this game.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of excited to see this game here. We do see the Doran's blade onto the cannon, which is kind of interesting, as as we just kind of see the Doran's ring as he is AP. There is some AD scaling into there too, so this could be just in having the Dorans instead of going for the Doran's ring.
Yeah, they certainly keep going for that. No cull this game. It looks like CWU did not end up doing the champ ordering, so it'll be a little bit off right now.
Yeah, and you can yeah, and so I feel like maybe they just weren't really paying attention or something like that happened. Who knows? Um, there is a tier start on the Karma, probably going for an Archangels here, and they so I feel like it's just not going to be. I feel like this should be very safe and just trying to farm out, just procking some stuff. There is a summon area on the Karma, going for some more shields.
Mantra Q, poke things out. Yeah,
exactly. Just chill. There's summon area on the cannon. Not looking for any all in. No electrocute.
And if Takano is super low, they're gonna have a harder time getting level 3 when, as an assassin, you're gonna be at your strongest. Mantra Q just really does hurt.
There's some Kenshin's gonna be kind of very scared because of how much poke this Kennen will be doing with Summon Harry. The jungler is going towards the top side though, so this could be a gank towards Kennen. Kennen does have the E on, so he can't really gank him. This could be very hard for any side to really think about what's gonna happen. Wukong is going towards the bot side though, so the jungler's on the opposite side. There's a gank. There could be a gank towards on the bot side. But there's vision set up, so I think every lane is just fine and dandy with farming right now.
Yeah, they are split up a little bit here, and we saw Llama able to get some excellent roams and getting some good kill setup for their team. So certainly good, especially with Raptor being super pushed up. They probably won't be able to get a whole lot here, being Doggy can just kind of lightning man out here. But the invade happening by Forest here is an interesting decision. Maybe they're just waiting for Tortuga to overpush and punish that.
And I feel like, honestly, though, the mid lane is what's going to be focused down here. And just because it's Karma and there's not really much of a dash to get away. So maybe Shady Llama is looking towards the Zed being thing, because it's pretty hard to gank the Jinx Lulu. Jinx having exhaust and Lulu having polymorph and all the shields and speed that they're gonna have. It's gonna be very hard to even gank any lane here besides mid lane. So maybe a Mumu will be looking towards mid lane.
Yeah, but mid lane's also so short, and Karma does have that speed up and massive shield, and her W also heals, and you can get 2 procs if you end up using it as a mantra, which makes things a little bit more difficult as well. Should you stay reasonably healthy?
When we're looking towards the mid lane.
Oh, P.A.K.A. getting caught out here, but their flash ended up being forced out here. Part of their safety here. But Llama also used their flash. Very important that they have that as well. The hook happening on Tortuga here as well. Chompers happening. Zappers happening here as they try and clear out this wave. No sums used.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a CS diff down up in the top side. That's kind of forming a little bit. It's only 5, but five can lead to a lot more. The range top matchup is going to be kind of hard for this Tom Ken. She's not going to really have a chance to get on top of Ken and to take any trades.
Yeah.
Ken being able to just, if Tom Ken does try, there is an E that Ken can just kind of use to just get away and be able to speed up.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time getting in, even with that slow that he has with the Tongue Lash. But he does have Ghost as well for some of these extended trades to try and stick in. The Tongue Lash does do a decent amount of damage and give them a decent amount of range. But Dorian's Shield really going to help with this range versus melee matchup.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for junglers. I feel like this game, there's no real there's no real objective besides the dragons, of course, but there's no like top lane or mid lane or bot lane. All lanes, both of them, both teams are just really safe and really hard to even gank. So I feel like junglers are just going to be trying looking for dragons and Rift
Yeah,
Herald.
speaking of dragons here, Blueback's taking this dragon here right away, trying to take that ward. Ocean, pretty important.
Definitely important. That Tom Pitch definitely loves that ocean dragon being taken.
Yeah, and Chemtech following that, good synergy in between the two, extra shielding and healing, which is always quite nice with some of these champions. Lulu certainly will like that as well. More shields, Karma, more shields. And on the other side, you got so much shields and healing as well with Tom Kench, Nautilus, and yeah.
Yeah, no, Tom Kitch is definitely loving these dragons so far. This could, if especially if this becomes an Earth Soul, this could.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
Tom Kitch is gonna love this.
Tank gaming.
Yeah, Earth Soul is just a really good soul this game. I feel like for both teams.
Oh no! The traps, the flash, the polymorph. Not quite enough. The rockets were so nasty into those traps.
Yeah, like as we say, like the support in this ADC, like it always something seems to be going on, where both of them one of them wants to engage, and one of them seems to just wasn't not even there. He wasn't even in lane for that part. So I feel like I don't know, just kind of going on throughout all three games that's been happening.
Yeah, slightly off. You think you'd be able to punish Tortuga a little bit more, but Stoggy might be getting punished here. They were caught out here, Llama. So no gank here as well. They try to be sneaky. Rift Herald should be up relatively soon. First one of the game as we're getting close to the 8-minute mark. But the goal difference pretty even right now.
I definitely feel like CWU kind of wants this Rift Herald quite a bit. Especially because they're at the tops. We're looking at the top side here. Amumu is looking for the vision, but Amumu is already kind of clear his top side. It looks like he's going to be going down towards the bot side here. And so that means that Rift Herald is up for the taking at this moment. Amumu being 6 and Wukong being 5. Wukong might be able to get 6 off the grump and be able to take this Rift Herald for free almost.
Mumu is 6 right now, which is quite nice. The hook going into Sponge Head here. Nothing else being exacerbated. Although the ISO Q doing a lot of damage. Cleanse, Exhaust, Tortuga could be going down here, but they get to the tower in safety.
Yeah, as we see so far, it's 0-0. Both teams are being safe and just their final game. They're trying their best and trying to stay alive and just not ent. As we saw last game, there was the Zai that was really fed that first game, and then next game Urgot was fed that really fed. Yeah. So I wonder who's going to be the standout this game.
Coach BG's just trying to stay alive here, recognizing they could be dove there. And, well, the rest of their team makes a play into the top side using that Rift Herald, which is oh so crucial here.
Yeah, and definitely they did get the Rift Herald on the Wukong. He does have the Sheen now, and he is level 6 now. This is just really good for CWU right now.
Cyclone going into Shady Llama, who tried to go and steal the Raptors. The ultimate going through. Zed trying to fall through. The Super Mega Death Rocket not quite getting it there as well. Alpaca not able to get the Mantra Q damage to kill Llama. Still no kills yet, Bard.
Yeah, there's been a lot of close calls, but there is just no kills yet. We shall wait until about 15 minutes, I bet, and then the next thing you know, there's gonna be a team fight that's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that could be the case here, and it looks like Raptors is going for a Baumies, trying to get some extra wave clear, something tanks lack, especially into this range melee matchup. Should be quite nice for them. Gold, still pretty even, but favoring CWU with a 700 gold lead, despite no one having a kill.
I'm kind of surprised to see the Bambi Cinder rush onto the Tom Kench.
Oh, you see it a lot on tanks right now, as it just allows them to push waves.
True, that does push the wave, but I feel like they should be able to. They should be rushing these something like Merc Treads or something to help them sustain more into the lane because, or like even with the heart steal, if you're trying to go heart steal, you could go the rejuve bead and be able to get more regen and sustain more into the lane.
That is
Uh,
true, but also keep in mind waves do a lot of damage on their own. So just trying to mitigate any extra wave push is health.
True, it is true. It is health.
Now, Dragon up here. It's not Ocean Dragon, as it's been bugged, as I said earlier in this stream. Looks like BlueVex is going to be able to secure this. Super Mega Death Rocket won't be able to steal it now.
I don't know. I'm thinking CWU is about to turn something around. We do see the Danny combo looking towards the bot side.
The hook
here.
going towards the wall. Lulu, Jinx. Oh, but the depth charge hitting through the red. Red team takes it. BlueVex has it. But it looks like we're going to get some exciting plays as Tortuga gets a double kill here. Or did that go to Forest? They're going in deep for here. The double kill went to Forest. My apologies. 3 kills for CWU.
As I was saying, like I don't know. I had a feeling that Jinx and Lulu were seeing something, and as we've seen in the past towards pro games, and no matter what you look at, Jinx does have the splash damage to carry any fights, especially when they're clumped up like that.
Yeah, when they're clumped up like that, you get a lot of value out of that rocket, and more importantly, that the Nautilus Socrates missed their hook and hit the wall. That would have been very different if that would have landed.
100%, especially with that proc, the Kaisa passive, and being able to just being able to almost one shot the Jinx there, even with the Lulu ultimate being there and the Lulu stuff.
Yeah,
Lulu would have been able to be close enough to Kaisa Polymorpher.
Yeah, and especially with Halo Blades, that also does help get in a lot of that damage. Raptor trying to go into Doggy here, despite them being close to the tower, getting stunned, getting some trade ups here, just trying to get those grass stacks. I bet.
There's the Roa bot from the Karma. Karma is looking to being like an AP bruiser almost, and just trying to probably build almost exactly like Swain is going to be.
Tankiness is good against Zed. Ooh, going in for some extra procs here. Mythic not quietly sunk in by Force. He's at 1,400 gold though, so that next back will transform that item. And possibly go into a boost pickup here, being able to be able to get blue buff here. Tortuga not quite to their item as well, but they're getting pretty close. The mid lane going all in. The ultimates P.A.K.A, the Ignite, the ultimate not quite being enough there. Roa giving them the tankiest they need. Oh, the poke.
Yeah, and I also it's just like there's so much like I feel like CWU could be so tanky later into this game. The only person that won't be as tanky will be the Jinx. The Lulu's gonna make her feel like a bruiser almost with how much
they
shield
gotta get to her.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard for BlueVex to actually get on top and actually be able to do the damage to kill the Jinx in the first place.
Fight happening to the top side. The ultimate going through the tongue not being enough. Will it land here or will the minion block it? It looks like that's gonna be the case. Smile Doggy just getting out.
Smile Doggy living with just his breath.
Jinx almost got caught up by the ISO Q there. Excellent flash. Super Mega Death Rocket missing.
There's so much times where people are living out these 1 HP things. I'm starting to think Zed might be able to collect her to stop this.
Collector the Eclipse is there for that little bit of extra damage as well right now. The channel did go through on that Raptor. I didn't think it was going to happen.
And there's just going to be looking for some pokes, and we'll see just a little bit of Mumu going for the rushing on the demonic embrace. Could be doing a lot of damage, especially in these early games with demonic.
Yeah, with so much action happening right now, it's hard to believe that at 15 minutes, there's only 3 kills.
Yeah, this is like a pro game almost. CWU does have the upper advantage though, with the gold lead being at 2K right now. There is drags onto BlueVex, but it is Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul is not the dragon you wanted to roll here onto.
Yeah, the extra movement speed is kind of nice, but
It's nice, but it's not gonna get you the win here. We need an Earth Soul or Infernal or yeah, or Hextech, right? You need those three, but you got the worst one, I feel like, out of all of them. So the dragons are gonna almost mean nothing.
Yeah, objective gold is pretty important here as well. No kill happening onto the top side, but Blue Vex got the Rift Herald as they go into this bot side play, forcing out the Ignite, the Cyclone, the Super Mega Death Rocket here, the Wild Growth happening as we just lean in to Socrates. Getting the kill was Spongehead.
Yeah, this Wukong is actually really staying in the game. He has a lot. He has the same CS as Amumu and has all the ganks. Even though Amumu is a ganking jungler, it's kind of crazy to see Wukong having all the ganks in the game right now.
Yeah, and all the objectives is on the other side. And we saw Raptor take the top turret here as well. Rift Herald going to the mid lane, trying to unlock Tokano here, just being able to get him to roam and get some more damage onto these important carries.
Now, honestly, though, having CWU having these cloud dragons, having this slow resist and the out of combat movement speed is actually really good for CWU to get these dragons. Just because the slows from Tom Kench and the slows that Zed will be getting, and also the slow from Nautilus, is going to be very, very strong for them hitting their skill shots in general. Them having this out of combat movement speed will make it to where they can't really leave that caught out if they can't even land their hooks for how fast they will be.
And just get to these waves sooner as well to collect them, or get out.
And also the movement, the rotations, everything like that.
And they have a lot of rotations with their comp. Forest has good rotations. Doggy has good rotations as well, and Alpaca has good rotations as well. Their composition. So this 3K gold lead still can be thrown at this stage. They haven't quite crossed the 4K gold differential, but they're getting to there, especially with the CS leads that they have. They're not big, but this kill lead, 5-0. Blue Vex is not even on the board yet.
Blue Vex is maybe looking for a kill. They have a lot of pick potential, but they just don't have it yet. The team fight that Blue Vex does have is really, really good. It's just not the time yet. With CWU being able to, with the Wukong being a bruiser, being able to catch these picks and do a lot of damage as with just 3 people, it can really just take a toll onto Blue Vex.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's still a little bit before some of these objectives being called out, so there's time for them to recuperate, get some CS, get some nice backs for some major power spikes here. Now there is 5 mythics to 4 as Llama opted to not get one and decided to go for Demonic's Embrace instead.
Yeah, the Demonic Embrace, though, is really good on the Mumu. The Demonic Embrace just actually makes him almost a damage threat. Being able to just kill almost anyone with his ultimate is going to be doing a lot of damage with the Demonic Embrace. He's probably also going to be going Jackshow, too. Jackshow being able to proc from the Demonic Embrace, and also him just being in the fights. People are going to be draining health from him just being there and existing. It doesn't matter if they CC him or not, he will be doing a lot of damage with his W. I also feel like, though, that this Tom Kinch, as we saw the Bambi Cinder, he actually went to Jackshow, which is actually, I think, really, really good for their team comp, as they have a lot of mixed damage potential, and they have Armor Shred, but I definitely feel like Jackshow is definitely play instead of the Heart Steel.
I see. The Heart Steel, the Jackshow, just trying to get as much value out of these champions as possible here. With Baron getting up close to here, being as close to the 20-minute mark, do you think anyone's going to be going for an early Baron? Or do you think people are going to be playing things more safe here, just trying to get these earlier towers?
I definitely feel like, though, they're definitely going to go for an early Baron here. They're already migrating towards it.
Okay.
They're already migrating towards it and trying to see what they can do, and I feel like they're just going to get it and walk out scot-free.
Yeah! Almost. With Llama and everyone recalling at this stage, they should be able to take it just fine. And it looks like the vision isn't quite there, so going on punished. They tried getting it with the W there, or just trying to see if they were on it at all, and it goes to CWU. A 20-minute Baron. That is exactly where you want to be when you are ahead. And I'll tell you what, they've crossed the 4K goal threshold. Dragon up in 50 seconds. Team fight is gonna happen soon.
Something also is that we've seen is that BlueVex does like this dive comps that they've been doing, but also CWU loves these disengage type style comps, and I feel like though it was almost like a draft diff in a sense,
Yeah.
just because disengage does counter engage quite a lot. You know, if they all go in, Kitten just presses R. Next thing you know, they're all half health. Not much they can really say about it.
Or the polymorph.
Exactly, the polymorph, everything like that.
I asked earlier, do you think we're going to get the Hurricane? And we see it. Second item. They didn't go for the IE, which we've been seeing a lot of.
I definitely feel like the root on second is really good.
Going in. So much CC Tortuga going in here as well. The Super Mega Death Rocket landing, but not taking anyone as Raptor splits the top lane.
Yeah, and I definitely think the Runons was definitely the right play here for the second item. Just because of how we were talking about how grouped up everyone will be, and how they have been actually towards this game. They've been really grouped up. Tom Kinch not really been in the fights. I feel like whenever Tom Kinch does enter these fights, though, it could be really hard just because Jinx doesn't have the Lord Doms yet, and Jinx to decide whether or not she can get Lord Doms or IE
going through the first kill going over to Llama for BlueVex as they sponge gets dove with Alpaca, the wild growth going on to themselves. The tongue lashing, not quite getting the stun there.
That's a really good play from BlueVex here. BlueVex being able to actually get that shutdown and they put it on a Moo, which isn't the best person to put it on here. But it is definitely a good sign that BlueVex might be able to do something into this game, with CWU being 6 kills and being a 1. We see Kaisa going for a Dirk here. This could be a collective build onto Kaisa here instead of going to the Navori as we usually like seeing the second item here.
Yeah, but sometimes I do see that. Sometimes you just end up taking the serrated Dirk just for the Q evolve. But with the pickaxe there as well, you might be onto something with the second item collector, which is interesting when you're behind.
It is kind of interesting if we're behind. Whether I feel like Kaiso is maybe a little bit tilted, possibly from the Jinx living at 1 HP about 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe she's like, I need to fix this. Let's just get collector. There's no more 1 HP anymore for you, buddy.
Kaisa can be a difficult champion to utilize, as everything is an auto reset. So if you can't get those off to get your passive going, it can be quite difficult. And when you're behind, it does not feel great as you're fairly short ranged versus Tortuga's Jinx.
Yeah, and Tortuga's Jinx is really doing a lot of damage. As we can see, this Lulu is so strong with the Jinx, being able also having the long range with her rockets and being able to just have so much attack speed. She doesn't even need the minigun attack speed because she has the Lulu W, being able to buff her up and being able to just do so much damage. Whenever Lulu is about to have this Ardent Sensor, whatever she does, I feel like Jinx is just going to be so strong. It's going to be really hard to shut her down.
Yeah, no shutdown, surprisingly, as she's 2-1-4. With a decent farm lead here. The goal lead
she just got shut down.
What?
She just got shut down.
Oh, yeah, she just got shut down. Okay, that'd be why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a Serpent's Fang, as we can see from the Zed being kind of pissed off from all the shielding that has been happening on the Jinx. We can hope to see that Serpent's Fang later in the game. I would like to see how much shielding that has been reduced.
Double shields, shielding with the Karma Lulu, double Enchanter. Makes some sense wanting to pick that up here as well, as they get this bot lane tower here. They have a tower advantage here as well, as they go in and try and pick out Smile Dodgy successfully, as CWU's Armidas ends up taking that kill.
Yeah, BlueVex just picking out these people. There was a Jinx and there was a Jinx shutdown. And the next thing you know, there was the Kennen being caught out. CWU could be almost going away from their lead and not being able to push it anymore. As they did a lot with the lead, they got Baron, they got as many towers as they can. Which they got 2 towers for that Baron. They went and got 2 dragons. And they did a lot with the lead, but the lead could be thrown away for how much they're getting caught out right now.
Yeah, that does make things a little bit more difficult. It does look like Tortuga is just getting some solo XP. They're trying to stop the split there, trying to get them to be extra big. But they will be away from this dragon, notably, as it's coming up in 45 seconds. So they might be a little bit behind here. Will be third dragon for everyone here. Do you think CWU is going to be able to get this dragon here, or do you think that Blue Vex's early pink ward will be enough?
I feel like though that CWU is probably going to get this dragon. That's my full opinion. I'm kind of rooting for CWU here as I'm seeing this game. I feel like Kennen, they're going to underestimate Kennen here, and Kennen does have the stopwatch here. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they can fly on Kennen, and Kennen uses the ult. I don't know. I feel like Kennen is going to be very crucial in this fight, though. And as long as they're there, Tomkich is roaming down, though. So this could be an ult from onto the Kaisa, stopping the Kennen, but I feel like Kennen and Jinx are about to cook up a storm here.
Yeah, they have a lot of space here from CWU that they created, but with the collapse, that numbers advantage isn't going to be there, and if Tortuga gets caught out, it could be quite dangerous. Raptor going in the Cyclone, the AoE stunt here. As we're seeing the excitement happening here. Takanoko getting hit, not quite going down here. Smiley Doggy getting a kill here and a triple kill out of Spongehead.
Yeah, and like there, right there, as I was saying, like the Kennen just stuns every single person, and they're all grouped up just perfectly for that Rudons, where she does go for the last Whisper, just doing so much damage towards this Nautilus and Mumu and Tom Kench. Not really much that I could say about it, and just taking all the rockets.
I don't think she even needs to lower Dom's third item. She should just go for an Infinity Edge, as everyone doesn't have a lot of items. So she'd be doing so much more damage with this Infinity Edge. Possibly could have taken out the Zed Takanoko, or got that other kill, maybe getting a Penta.
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. I feel like the IE is definitely the play. But, you know, as we can see, she does buy the Lord Doms, and so maybe she's just overthinking the tanks. There's a lot of tanks on their team.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Lulu redemption being bought, though, so Lulu is going to be... Their team fight is really good right now. Especially whenever they stun with the cannon and they just redemption is up. It's really hard for Blue Vex to do much at all, if anything. It's very hard for them to come into this game. Kaisa's building something. What's she building?
Wit's End, I believe, would be the item that they're trying to go for, which is
I definitely feel it's very interesting. I feel like Kaisa definitely needs this Navori to do damage into these fights. I don't feel like Wit's End is the move here.
It's not. It doesn't go in with her theme. Like it's like she's doing on hit, but also as collector.
Yeah, maybe if she had like Kraken, Bork, Rage Blade, something
the
like
coming
that.
in from Llama trying to get stuff, but the Wild Growth redemption preventing stuff. The Cyclone going through. Super Mega Death Rocket, the stun going through. Double kill coming out of Doggy here as the autos just pelt people down. Ace for CWU.
Yeah, and I feel like this is what's the end of the game right here. Kennen just was so strong this entire game, being able to stun everyone, and the Runons proccing with the rockets from the Jinx, just being able to just do whatever they want. It's very hard for Blue Vex to go into them.
Yeah, it is quite difficult for them indeed. And they don't even go for an IE here on Tortuga. As you see, they have a Vampiric Scepter. They're chewing through. That looks like with the Nexus going down, that they are going to be taking this set, not dying to the fountain.
Yeah, it was very close. maybe with that shutdown, Blue Vex could have came in back in the game.
Nexus for shutdown. A worthy trade.
A worthy trade every time.
Now, I know you liked a lot of Blue Vex's composition here, but what do you think was their ultimate downfall for this set as CWU, the side with two, ended up taking this series?
I feel like their downfall was pushing all these dive comps into people who play disengage. Almost it's very hard for them to dive into Kennen, especially Kennen just being able to stop all their engage. There's not really it's not it's very hard to dive into a team that's built for not diving, saying, "Hey, you can't dive into me," and then you can't just say, "I'm gonna dive into you" for that. You have to change a game plan. You can't if that happens, right? And so I feel like they had an idea and they were too stubborn to change that idea.
All right, yeah, that seems to make a whole lot of sense as well. Do you have any other closing remarks for this set at all?
I definitely feel like um Blue Vex, I feel like the bot lane needs to be on the same page there. Support was definitely caught out a lot. But I feel like once that happens, and also I feel like the builds were a little bit interesting on both teams. Um, but I feel like though that the bot lane on Blue Vex definitely needs to be more communicative and more thought processed with what they're doing and on the same page.
All right, there. Well, thank you very much, Bard, for joining us, as well as any of these people who do the first time chats. Sorry about game one. Games 2 and 3 went a lot more smoothly here. It's been a while since I've been to the cast scene. So thank you all for bearing with me, and have a nice, safe night on Summoner's Rift.